the pursuit of perfection, empowering you to go further. GWM. Go with more.
GWM. Go with more.
What drives us? Curiosity to explore, passion to discover, thirst for adventure, energizing us to go further. With more courage, we scale new heights within ourselves.
我的项链不见了。
儿子，快帮姐姐回忆一下，她有没有带？
姐姐她肯定带了，不然我怎么会捡到嘞？
这臭小子！
With more spirits, we deepen our ties through the moments we share.
Looking after a horse means understanding it, not taming it. It's all on you now.
Thanks, Dad.
Take care of the farm!
Enjoy your retirement, Dad!
With more possibilities, we draw strength from the past, inspiring the journey of tomorrow.
Eric! Time to go! I'm in the car. Speed up!
Come on, Mom, why are you doing it to me?
With more love, we nurture those we hold dear, setting them free.
Okay, so you like this place? We're gonna come here most of them, right? So, what are you gonna do after that?
Let's make some snowmen.
Oh, really? You can try that.
Alex!
With more imagination, we bring our dreams to life together.
That's a nice motto. That's great. I did that many years ago.
And why you stopped?
I ask myself the same question. I really don't know.
You should do it again, man. Good luck!
With more inspiration, we reignite the fire inside. What drives GWM? The power of possibilities, the passion for innovation,
Where do we go next year?
the pursuit of perfection, empowering you to go further. GWM. Go with more.
GWM. Go with more.
What is up, everybody? It's Jack here, and I've got you back here with me at the Shanghai Auto 2025, the 2025 Auto Shanghai show. So right here, I have taken you guys out of the exhibition, a little different from a couple days ago. Today, we are at GWM's off-road test track. So this place is a lot of fun. Test drive all sorts of different vehicles, different models here. We've got people from around the world, huge crowds, a really lively atmosphere. We've got a drone in the air right now, actually can give you a nice bird's eye view of this entire place. You can really see that this is a massive off-road playground. So all sorts of different obstacles, and we got all sorts of different models here, namely a couple in particular that we're going to be trying out. We've got the Haval H9, we've got the Power High 4T, GWM Power High 4T, Haval H9, GWM as well. We also have the GWM Tank 300 diesel version. So we've got quite a few vehicles here that we are going to be test driving. We are going to be driving these things through this obstacle course. We're going to really put them to the test, see what they've got. And now with this obstacle course here, we've got 4 different zones where we can test out different functions and abilities of the vehicle. So we've got the chassis performance zone. See how that chassis works. We've got the escape zone. We've got the extreme zone, and we've got the climbing course. So like I said, GWM Haval H9, the Power High 4T, and the Tank 300 diesel version. We are going to be taking these things for a spin. We're going to be talking with experts, and we're going to be meeting with a couple of other special guests and seeing what they have to say. So as of right now, we've got several guests from around the world, people from different media outlets, places like Australia, places like Africa, all over the world. So I'm gonna take you guys to meet up with them. They have been trying out some of the vehicles here over the past couple days. They've been at the exhibition, they've been at the auto show. So we're gonna see what they are thinking about it so far. So let's go see who we can find. Let's see who we can meet up with. Like I said, I mean, I'm seeing people that, you know, just faces from really just all four corners of the world. And the interesting thing with meeting up with people from different places is that GWM, it has a very wide, very large global reach. So it has markets in several different countries and regions. So you have consumers from all these different places. You also have a lot of people from dealerships, people that sell these vehicles that are very familiar with the car, and they understand how GWM, this brand and their models, how they function and how they adapt to different, you know, geographical areas, different terrains, a lot of diverse climates that we're working with, and diverse landscapes. We can really get behind, you know, the scenes here and see what the market is like there, what consumers are looking for, and all of that. I saw you at Shanghai Mountain, didn't I? Oh, your mic! You just got the mic on and it's gone.
Hold on a second.
I think you got this mic here as well. I think you could probably not.
Sorry. The mic is falling apart here.
It's
Ladies, this doesn't really happen unless you're live
I'll hold
streaming.
it. I'll hold it for
There
you.
we go.
Yeah,
All
all the worst stuff happens when you're live streaming.
Here we go.
Saudi Arabia, right?
Exactly.
We sat
Wow.
on the plane together
Ex-
when we were leaving Shanghai
Wow,
Mountain.
you've got a good memory. Actually, we were talking about you a minute ago. But hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice
Good
to see you again.
Excellent.
So you've been at the Shanghai Auto Show for a couple days now,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
What are your impressions so far?
About the show as a whole or about GWM? Because there's two different things that happen at the show. First of all,
Give me both.
Okay. First of all, as you know, and I think you're aware and know as the motor shows are really going down. Some of the really big international motor shows are closing their doors, like Geneva, like Frankfurt Motor Show.
Huh.
I mean, even Paris was much more last year, a smaller Paris Motor Show. But when it comes to China, in Beijing Motor Show was just a huge motor show, and Shanghai Motor Show was one of the biggest international motor shows. So you see a rise and getting bigger and getting much more modern and professional. So this is in terms of the motor show.
Yeah.
However, when we're talking about GWM, it was an amazing to see some of the technologies that the GWM have talked about and launched during the motor show. What really stands out for me is a V8 engine.
Okay.
I mean, you're talking about everybody is going down in engine, or they're reducing the engine. Like you're talking big name, Ferrari, Lamborghinis, even the Germans. Their V8 engine technology are abandoning it, and they're going to a smaller engine. But to me, let this guys do their thing so we can continue.
He's throwing the mic on you there.
But to me I think GWM is being different.
Yeah.
So if the industry going this way, they're going the other. And one other reasons that I found out that GWM is thinking in the future, perhaps they might launch a premium brand. So that really puts them also, this engine would be an extreme useful to that brand as well. Now keep in mind, I also heard that this particular engine with the 4000 cc is going to be used in the tank product like the Tank 700 and the Tank 500. Tank 500. So when you're talking about from a technology point of view, such as the High 4, High 4T, High 4Z, even the High 4G in the trucks. So GWM was talking about technologies, emphasis on technologies.
You have the electrification, you have the hybridization, I guess you would call it, but at the same time, there's still that focus on performance and power.
Exactly.
A lot of diversity in the products, really appealing to all sorts of consumers.
Exactly. A good example for that is the motorcycle.
Yeah.
You're talking about a V8 engine. Nobody in the industry, and that makes you stand and look at this V8 engine in a motorcycle. BMW didn't do it. Honda didn't do it.
Yeah.
So why? But it shows the technology and the power, exactly what you said, that they're driven with the technology.
Very true. Well, thank you for
You're
your
welcome.
insights. I hope you have some more fun test driving, doing some off-roading.
Will do, yes.
And I'm sure I'll be seeing you around at more GWM events
Good
in the
luck to
future.
you too. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Alrighty, so from Saudi Arabia, we got to hear some of his opinions on the auto show in general, also GWM as a brand. Hey, where are you guys from?
Hi, we're from Brunei. Have you heard Brunei before?
Okay, Southeast Asia. That's
Correct.
not too far away.
Yep,
away.
that's right. Yep.
So how have you guys been enjoying the auto show so far? Any impressions of, GWM's exhibition or the vehicles so far?
All right. So for the Auto Shanghai 2025, it's really incredible. Every year they showcase a lot of cars, especially on the GWM side.
Yeah.
Where I've seen a lot of new vehicles, latest vehicles, for example, like the new Xiaolong Max and 700, which they include with the HI four-wheel drive T, and also the Z.
Yeah, that thing's a monster.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Have you gotten to get behind the wheel of any of these vehicles so far? Test drive any of them?
Yes, it's today, so that's why we test driving
Yeah.
a lot of, especially on the climbing scenario,
Right.
where we tested all these four-wheel drive capabilities, as well as all the 360 camera function.
Oh yeah.
We can manage to see on the real time on how the capability of this four-wheel drive works, and
Right.
at the same time we also experience the NOA driving, smart driving system.
The NOA, right?
Yeah, NOA. They call it NOA in the real route in China itself. So I'm so impressed with the autonomous driving capabilities, even though it's L2, but it's totally something incredible that it must be captured in our country in the future.
Right.
Yeah.
The intelligence of the autonomous driving has really come so far.
Precisely, yes.
There's probably a lot that it can already do in real world scenarios
yep.
and out on real roads.
I agree with you, yeah.
Right.
So I hope one day, it will be implemented in other countries globally.
Yeah. Are there any vehicle models that you're excited about trying out for the first time here today?
Yes, the Haval H9,
Okay.
the Tank 700, and the Tank 400. I hope this car will come to our country, because this might be potential to our client in Brunei that can potentially help them, assist them in our route condition in our country is a bit, unstable. So this can help to smoothen the ride.
Conquer the roads.
Conquer the road.
Right. All right. Well, thank you for your insights.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
It was great talking with you. I hope you have fun. There's a lot of cars to try out, like you said. H9, 700, 400 as well. Wish you guys the best.
Thank you so
of luck.
much.
Yeah,
I love China. All right.
All right, so that fella was from Brunei. Not really a massive country, pretty small area-wise, but that is a place down, nearby Indonesia, where you definitely have a lot of different kinds of terrains, a lot of really diverse landscapes. That is also going to be a place where you could probably get into some good off-road. And like you said, the roads there aren't the best, but if you got a vehicle from GWM, it's probably not a big deal.
Hello?
How you doing, man? Where are you from?
I'm from Indonesia. Nice to meet you.
Indonesia. All right. That last guy was from Brunei.
Oh, Brunei.
Not too far away from you.
Yes, the same island.
Yeah. So how have you been enjoying yourself so far at the auto show and GWM exhibition?
Well, I must say this is an experience like no other, because we can sense or maybe drive not only the SUVs and the four-wheel drive, but we also can taste or maybe experience the autopilot, the NOA system like that.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of people have very, very strong interest on self-driving cars to experience how they feel. You don't have to really stress on the road because the car can drive itself for you like that.
Yeah.
That's the biggest excitement on this event, I must say.
How do you find the NOA, the intelligent autonomous driving, has performed? What is your experience with it?
Okay, so it's actually my very first time riding rather than driving an autonomous car, something like that.
Yeah.
At first, I'm really maybe a bit nervous because I'm not driving, the car is driving. But
a little scary.
Yeah, a little scary. But after a few miles, I think I can really depend on this system for maybe city driving or some highway driving to to have a less stressful experience when driving, especially for long distances or trip like that.
Yeah.
But yes, it's very, very intelligent, but at the same time, we have to very, very cautious because if the system asks us to take over, we have to take over, especially as a random moment like that.
Right, so it's still in the process of becoming more intelligent and more autonomous.
Yes.
But like you said, it's at L2 at this point, which is really, it's probably able to handle itself a lot of different kinds of conditions.
Yes, especially the traffic jam or maybe parking, something like that. It's quite dependable.
Right, right. All right, well, thank you. It was
thank you
great
so much.
talking to you.
Yeah.
And I hope you have a fun time at the auto show. I hope you get to test drive lots of different vehicles, lots of different models. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right, so far we've talked to someone from Brunei, from Indonesia, a guy from Saudi Arabia as well. So really all from Asia, but really all like the four corners of Asia, because you got to think Asia, a massive continent. And these are landscapes that are very different. Saudi Arabia, a lot of desert. You go down to Brunei and Indonesia, you know, that is also a very different kind of terrain. Like you think about Indonesia, it is a massive country. I think, you know, it is the nation of 1,000 islands or something like that. So you go to all these different islands, you're encountering all sorts of different landscapes, different driving conditions. You know, you've got jungles, you've got sandy areas, you've got muddy areas, you've got mountainous regions for sure. There's tons of volcanoes in Indonesia. So it's really interesting to hear the takes of these people from just different corners of the globe on how they kind of view GWM, because GWM is a brand that really puts a lot of focus on off-roading. And it's not just off-roading, it's also kind of the day-to-day as well. They don't want it just to be a vehicle that you can use only when you're going on an outdoor adventure. If you're commuting in urban areas as well, you're also going to want a vehicle that you can use on your day-to-day. So we talked to 3 people from all different corners of the globe, different media outlets, all coming here to Shanghai to check out, you know, the different things that they can see, the different brands, the different models. Today, they're getting a real close look at GWM. So talk to people from all around the world right now, all around Asia. But next up, you guys are also in for a special treat because we are inviting 2 special guests to join us here on our live stream. Our first guest, let me bring him out. He is Wheels Boy from the United States, just like me. North Carolina though, right?
You're right, North Carolina.
Not too far from me, I'm from Florida.
We're basically neighbors, right?
Yeah, basically. Just a little Georgia and South Carolina in
yeah,
between.
that's it, easy.
All right, so tell them about yourself.
My name is Ethan, I'm the host of the Wheels Boy channel on YouTube. We specialize in talking about Chinese cars here in the Chinese market, and we make it a window for people outside of China to see what the Chinese car market is like. I've driven hundreds of Chinese cars, but some of the models we've got today from GWM, I haven't driven yet or experienced, so I'm super excited to get a chance to do that today.
And you've driven so many different vehicles, I'm sure in a whole variety of conditions. You can probably make a lot of really useful comparisons for us here, kind of see how the different models stack up against each other. So anything you're really excited about trying out today?
I am super excited. Hopefully, I don't know, I think I'd like to get behind the wheel of something. I'd like to do maybe a little bit of experiencing the 4-wheel drive systems and stuff. I love to off-road. So hopefully I get a chance to do that.
Well, you're in luck today. We'll be test driving in a bit.
Yeah.
All right, so in our second special guest, we have Tobias, our GWM technical expert.
Hello, Jack.
From Germany.
Yes, from Germany. So it's funny. So we have 2 American guys, 1 German guy in China. So very international today.
Telling you about Chinese cars.
That's right.
Yes.
So tell them about yourself, Tobias.
So my name is Tobias. I'm one of the chief engineers in transmission company from Breitwall Motors. So I can go under the exterior and tell you about the powertrain today.
All right. So Tobias is going to be giving us some in-depth explanations of some of the tech, some of the nitty-gritty of these vehicles. We can see up close some of the features, some of the real advantages and highlights of some of these vehicles here. So today for our live stream, we've got kind of 4 parts here. So first off, for our first part, we're going to start off. We're just going to get a quick rundown of a couple of the models we have here, see what it's all about. Next is a fun part. The second part, we are going to be test driving a couple of these babies ourselves.
That will be fun, yeah.
And then after that, we are going to go on some of the more extreme obstacles where we will have an expert driver and we'll be riding along for the trip.
And this is even for me the first time, this strong off-road experience.
Right, some of those obstacles I'm looking at it right now is a little frightening.
It's a little
frightening.
It's a little scary.
I wouldn't drive it. And then our last part, after we check out the vehicles, hang out for a bit, we've got a whole camping setup here powered by a GWM power pickup truck. We're gonna chill out over there, drink some tea, drink some coffee, and just chat for a bit. So that's kind of an introduction to what we're going to be doing, but I don't want to take up any more of your guys' time. Let's get into looking at some of these vehicles over there. Okay. So I want to kind of start off with our back row over here. So first I got to ask, are there any vehicles in particular, models that you guys are particularly excited about or maybe would like to get behind the wheel of? I know you were talking about wanting to do some four-wheel drive, but a lot of the models have four-wheel drive, so you've got kind of a lot of options.
Almost all, yeah.
So one of the more popular models here in China right now from specifically the Tank brand is the Tank 300.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna get a chance to talk about that, but I'm especially excited to maybe get behind the wheel of one. Or I would also really like to get behind the wheel of the power pickup truck. So this is, again, a pretty popular model here in China, but it's one that I haven't gotten a lot of chance to drive yet, so I really hope to do that.
Okay, so we've actually got a power coming up right here.
Here it comes.
I've actually driven this thing on Shanghai Mountain in the snow, on a snow test drive.
That sounds like fun.
Course.
How come I didn't get the invite for that event?
You missed out, man. So Tobias, tell us about what we're looking at right here, the GWM Power 2.4T.
Yes, you see this is a classical big pickup truck.
Yeah.
And you can see already 2.4T, so this is 2.4 liter turbocharged diesel engine.
Diesel?
Ooh,
yes,
all right.
so this is very special because China is not really a diesel market. We have some, but it's not a big volume. So this engine is especially for the export markets. And so we are very proud that we can show you this powertrain today.
So what does diesel kind of mean for us in terms of, driving experience and performance?
So of course the diesel has a very strong power and especially a high torque. So with the diesel, with this car you have a trailer hook, also special in China, not so common. And this trailer hook you can tow up to 3.5 ton trailer. So the very big ones.
3.5 tons. That's quite a bit, yeah.
That is a lot. We're talking about boats, we're talking about heavy trailers and other cars easily.
Camping trailers, something like this. I think in the US it's very popular, this huge camping trailers sitting on the back of the pickup trucks.
Right. Absolutely, yes, yes.
Or like pulling like jet skis, motorcycles, kayaks, all
That's how I know you're from Florida.
Jet skis. That's the one I'm
talking about jet skis.
And
people pull their boats even.
Absolutely.
And this kind of leisure activities is also getting more and more popular in China. So you can see it once in a while.
It's true. It's a trend I've noticed in the Chinese market is the fact that more and more people are really getting into the outdoor lifestyle. China has incredibly huge cities like here maybe Shanghai, Beijing, but city life, it's fast paced. You want to relax, and it's great to have a car that you can take out into the
we will see this more and more.
Nature.
Yes.
Right.
And maybe give me some more figures because I see you were excited about the diesel engine,
Yeah.
So this diesel engine has a maximum torque of 480 Newton meter.
Ooh, now we're talking.
And this is a four-cylinder diesel. So if you consider maybe 20 years ago, natural aspirated V8 had 400 Newton meter. So you can imagine this is really high power, high torque.
Absolutely.
Wow, doing that much torque with like half the stuff.
Yes, with half the cylinders, lower displacement.
Exactly.
It's really impressive. Yeah.
And then you must also know, big torque you can also already have in a low speed. So at 1000 RPM, so this is more or less idle speed, you have already 260 Newton meter.
Okay.
So it's very good for lounging with trailer, uphill lounging, or climbing a rock. So you have here really powerful power source.
Very awesome.
Right.
Yes. Really helpful.
Yes. And then, actually, this is my baby. So it is combined. It is combined with a 9-speed planetary automatic transmission.
Okay.
And this transmission is totally developed in-house. So within Great Wall, we make the hardware development, testing, software, calibration, and also the manufacturing. And the vertical integration is very deep, so we can control the complete product.
And this is something you as an engineer are working on yourself.
Yes, exactly. That's why I must mention this because this is our baby. So we are in Great Wall very proud of this because it's not so common, and I think we are the first OEM in China who really make this kind of planetary automatic transmission totally in-house developed and produced.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm seeing another vehicle that I actually drove as well on Shanghai Mountain. This one over here, the Tank 500. This is also one that I took through the snow, but I see this version here is the Tank 500 High 4Z.
Yes, High 4C. And here I can already explain to you what is the meaning of High 4, because you will hear this quite often during this live stream.
Right.
So High 4 is hybrid intelligent four-wheel drive.
Okay.
So this is like a hybrid family, a powertrain family with integrated wall motors. The first version was launched already 2023. We will see this later, the first version. In this car, it's the High 4C, and this is a dual motor hybrid powertrain, very, very powerful.
Yes, yes, that's what I was so excited when I saw this in the background of the shot. I was really excited to check out the High 4Z. I had the privilege of driving the High 4T version of this. Maybe we'll experience some T models later, but I will say that that one was already really powerful and impressive, so I think this is going to be even cooler.
Yeah, this is very cool, I must say. And maybe first I tell you why is it called High 4C, because before High 4 I have explained, and C stands because we have a big space in the middle. Chong is Chinese word for middle.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
C,
Oh, okay.
So in the middle for the battery. So this powertrain architecture has no mechanical connection between the front wheel and the rear wheel. So you can imagine in the middle of the car you have a big battery, and if I talk about big, then it's really big. So the capacity of this battery is almost 60 kilowatt hours.
That's very big for a PHEV.
Exactly. So 10 years ago, my first BEV car, when I was in Germany, I was a very early adopter, had 22 kilowatt hours.
Okay,
and this
so you pretty much tripled it.
Yes, and this PHEV now has 60 kilowatt hours. This is fantastic.
So what does that mean in terms of like range? Like how far can you drive this thing on battery?
The range is fantastic here, and this was also the target in the development. So customer can enjoy, even in such a heavy car, can enjoy more than 200 kilometer pure electric range.
That's a lot.
Pure electric.
Yes.
Driving solely on battery.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
So that's why we also say this car you can use in the daily driving. So if you commute to the office or back and drive the family to the supermarket, then you can drive electrically, and the people enjoy this because electric drive is really fun, is one thing. And if, like here in China, the electricity is cheap, then you can enjoy a very comfortable and affordable driving.
I do have friends who have PHEV models here in China, and I know that many of them can go very extended periods without ever having to put gas into the car.
Yes.
Wow.
Weeks, months at a time, where they can charge each
at
night
home.
or every 3, 4, 5 days, you know, and then that way they save a ton of money on gas, honestly.
But on the other hand, you still have the engine here. So you have the safety, you can go long range, or in this case, you can go off-road.
Right.
Yeah,
So you
there we
have,
go.
actually you have 3 power sources in this car. You have the 4-cylinder engine, you have an e-motor in the front, DHT, dedicated hybrid transmission, and you have in the back, you have the rear axle.
Okay.
But that's not all.
That's
As
not
an
all.
engineer, it's very interesting because the DHT is a 3-speed transmission, and everybody thinks 3-speed. Now here's a 9-speed. What is the meaning?
Right.
But in this 3-speed transmission, we have also a power split unit.
Oh.
So the power split unit can make sure that we call it virtual gears or ECVT, so we can extend the range of ratio a lot by this between the engine and the e-motor and the drive.
So this is going to have a lot of different advantages, because when you can play with the ratio, you can play with the amount of power that's getting to the wheels, for example.
Exactly.
So you're talking about increased efficiency, maybe increased performance.
Exactly. And range.
And
Finally,
range,
efficiency
of
is finally range. Yeah. But I must say the customer doesn't have to worry, so he does not switch now which power split.
Right,
I
sounds
must
like a
choose.
little too many options.
How many buttons are inside of this car?
Like a telephone book, and
Like a
then you must
plain
choose what you
dashboard.
want. No. The customer, he has a choice, for example, for differential lock or something he can choose in the off-road.
Right.
But under the hood, everything is done, controlled by the software and the intelligent calibration done by us. And maybe for the operation range is also interesting because it's really complicated. You can drive this car only by the engine, or you can drive only by the rear axle electrically, or you can drive by 2 e-motors, or you can drive hybrid all motors together.
My goodness.
Or, and this is the beauty, maybe if you are in a country with not so many charging stations, and, but you want to enjoy the electric driving, you can drive with the rear axle, decouple the front axle, and let the engine by fuel drive the generator and then charge the battery.
So you can make it so that the engine acts as a generator to produce electricity simply for the rear battery. Oh, that's really cool.
We wouldn't even essentially need a charging station.
Exactly. No, yeah.
So even you have no charging station, you can enjoy the beauty of this hybrid drive.
Yeah, and the pleasure of a pure electric driving experience. I love engines, but I also love cars that can drive pure electric because there's advantages when it comes to the quietness, the smoothness,
power.
The power. Yes, we're very similar devices. Right. We love power.
Yeah. And I love power, but as a transmission guy, I love torque.
Okay.
So torque is for me must always a lot of torque. And this we have.
Well, let's keep going on because we have quite a few vehicles to get through here.
Okay, by the way, actually it was not planned, but now we are passing this car.
Yeah.
So this is our Tank 700
this
high
thing's
4T.
a monster.
This is really a monster.
Can I have the privilege of giving a brief introduction to this before we move on to the next vehicle?
All right.
Because I absolutely love the Tank 700. This is a vehicle I've been really looking forward to actually getting behind the wheel of because under the hood, instead of a 2-liter turbo like you have in some of the other high-4 systems, right? It's a 3-liter turbo V6, which is very rare actually in China, especially from Chinese manufacturers to self-develop it. Did you guys develop that yourself?
Developed the same like the AT transmission. We developed the 6-cylinder here also, which by the way, as the conventional version, also available in Tank 500.
That's
and
awesome.
This is already, so I mean, this is really a very nice piece of technology.
It's an awesome piece of kit, and I know right now they're not selling it abroad. So we will talk about the next car now, which is available abroad, I believe.
Yes.
But I hope that the people watching can look forward to hopefully seeing that in their market because it is super cool.
I have not driven this one yet either, but I'm really looking forward to it.
And the torque for this V6 and hybrid is more than 800 Newton meter.
More than 800?
Officially it's 800, but I can tell you secretly is we can go a little bit higher.
This is why you bring the expert. He gives you the inside knowledge.
Right, he's giving us the inside scoop right here.
And before we start with this, I give you one more insight. Actually, it's not a secret anymore because it's shown in the auto show. We will have a V8 in the future also.
Woo! Now you're talking to a couple of American boys.
Yeah, so that's why I must mention this.
muscle.
And this V8 with a hybrid, then we talk about input torque more than 1,000 Newton meter.
Woo! Okay, all right.
But we can do.
I'm excited. I'm
that's something to get excited about.
And the interesting thing is, in Great Wall, we're not doing just electric cars, not only off-road, not only this, that. We are doing actually everything.
That's
conventional, hybrid, electric. We can, what the customer wants, he can get from us.
Such range.
Versatility.
Right.
Exactly, yeah.
You got a lot of options to pick from.
Exactly.
So like this guy right here, this is actually kind of new to me. And we're calling this the Haval new SUV, believe it or not.
Maybe I join you over there. Because this car is such a beauty, maybe it's better.
Get like a nice side angle.
Let's get
exactly. More of the thing.
So this is called the Haval new SUV. This is what they're calling it in English right now, but I know as a reviewer here in China that this car's name here in the Chinese market is the Meng Long. Meng means fierce, Long means dragon. So this is the fierce dragon. I'm not sure, I think we don't know quite yet what they're gonna decide to sell it under, the name they'll sell under abroad, but let's hope it's as cool as fierce dragon. But tell us a little bit about this.
Yes, by the way, it was the SOP or the market launch in China was in the year of the dragon. So it's also a funny side fact. Yeah.
Makes sense.
You got to go with the Zodiac.
Yeah.
That's right.
You got to have your vehicles in line with the Zodiac.
And even it's called fierce dragon, so you don't need to be afraid of this.
It's good news.
It's very approachable.
Exactly. So this is quite interesting because it's also a high 4. This is the powertrain what I mentioned. It was kind of the first high 4 powertrain we have launched.
This is the original, the OG.
Right,
exactly. But and you must understand, so the powertrain architecture here is completely different than to the other cars. In the other cars we have a longitudinal engine, longitudinal transmission, and then depends mechanical all-wheel drive or a decoupled all-wheel drive like in a high 4C. And here you have a transversal engine. So you have the engine and the transmission in between the wheels.
So why would we want that?
This is because of the package and because also of the vehicle structure. The other vehicles, they have a chassis on frame or ladder frame. Exactly. So if you have a ladder frame, you have not enough space in between the wheels to package the powertrain transversal. But here we don't have this. Here we have the space, and if we can make this transversal, there's much more space for the battery. So also here we have in the middle, Chong, we have the battery, actually. So big battery in the middle, E-axle in the back. So also the dual motor concept.
Right.
And also here the battery can ensure your electric drive 140, 150 kilometer in daily driving.
Wow.
Okay.
Still definitely enough that people could use it, during the week, and that some people at least, if they're not having long commutes, they can probably go 4 or 5 days without having to charge.
Right.
What we don't have here, we don't have differential lock. Because this is more like a urban driving. In the other cars, we have really the mechanical differential locks.
So there's more of a focus on efficiency with this.
Exactly. Long drive range, not only for EV, also in the combined a combined hybrid operation mode. We want to have a long driving range.
Okay. So this is a very kind of like nice day-to-day kind of SUV we have right here. If you had a family, it would also be really oriented towards that aspect as well.
Efficient, comfortable, all of that stuff.
Yes,
so.
and it's very popular. So when I go to office, I see many of those cars.
Yeah. So we also have another Haval up there, the H9. I think we can go check out real quick.
Yeah. It's a big brother.
Yeah.
The big brother. That's right. It's, honestly, as a car reviewer, it's very exciting to see an entire lineup from these different brands all parked together. I still get excited.
Yes.
Even though I've been to so many events and everything, I still get excited to see all these cars parked together.
And I was thinking before you ask which car you are most excited, so my answer would be actually everything, because I know in every car is my transmission or our transmission inside, and the powertrain is beautiful, and I really like the lineup from Great Wall Motors. Everybody can find something.
So there's really such variety here, but I heard that GWM's kind of made it easier for consumers by kind of classifying these vehicles into 4 different categories, I think is what it is?
Yes, especially for the off-road vehicles, because the big variety makes it also difficult for the customer to choose. So what vehicle should I choose now? The Tank 500 is beautiful, the Tank 700 is more beautiful. Of course, the question is also about what can I afford, but also we make this kind of categorization. And this is especially for the off-road vehicles, because Great Wall have for 35 years huge off-road experience. We are really an off-road brand, so we have a lot of database also for how is the customer driving, what kind of duty cycles I have in off-road. So we make these categories. I start from the bottom, so like it's like a pyramid.
Like a pyramid? Okay,
pyramid,
going up. All right.
So even as a German, sometimes it's difficult to pronounce.
Learning every day.
Yeah.
English words.
That's right.
So in the bottom is the urban driving. So it's like the new SUV, they call it. This you can
Haval
use.
New SUV.
Haval New SUV. You can drive every day to office, to mall, to here, to there. But you still have the 4-wheel drive capability. It's an urban all-wheel drive or off-road SUV. Then at the next step you have the general SUV. For the general SUV, I would say is, for example, this one. And also the Haval H9.
It's like our general off-road.
General off-road, off-road. And also the High 4C is a general off-road. Even it has so much power, we consider it as a general off-road, because you have the long EV range, and it's really good also for commuting, like in the city. You
Very
have
versatile.
the best of both worlds. And then above this is the strong SUV.
Strong off-road.
Strong off-road. Strong off-road. I always say SUV. Strong off-road. Here we have, for example, the High 4T. We come to this later. And the High 4T platform has also several vehicles, like the Power, like the Tank 500, Tank 700, and so on. Tank 300 also. And then there is the top of the pyramid will be super off-road.
Whoa, I know the other 3. I haven't heard about this.
Yeah, because there is no, it will come in the future. So
more inside knowledge for you guys.
More will come.
to be announced.
I'm excited.
Not unlocked yet.
I look forward to the test drive event for whatever the super off-road vehicle is.
Yeah.
So today, I think what we're going to be test driving is a lot of strong off-road SUVs and trucks, right?
Yes. All of the cars I think we drive today will be strong off-road.
All right, so which one are we looking at right here? This is the Haval H9, yeah?
Yes. For the H9, you can see it already from the design. It's the big brother from the new SUV. So the design language of Haval and Tank and Power all are different, which is also reasonable, because the customer, he has so many choices, so he must get some guidance. If I like this kind of design, this is more the modern design, not too much off-road, not too much spacey, I want to say. Then
not
you
too
have
bulky.
Then you have the Haval H9, and in this car, by the way, it's also different to the new SUV.
We taught them Mung Long. They know what you're talking
about. Once you hear Fierce Dragon, you never go back.
It's different to the Fierce Dragon, so it's a longitudinal powertrain here.
Okay.
But with an 8-speed automatic transmission, not with a 9-speed. But so we have all kind of varieties of the powertrain.
Absolutely. All right. Something for everybody.
This one to be exciting. I also hear that, from what I've heard, it's a 7-seater.
Yes. Whole family can fit.
Right. Does a lot for comfort, safety as well, and also pretty fuel efficient, good for your day-to-day driving as well, even if you're not off-roading.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So We've got another GWM power right here. This one's a little different from what we were looking at just a second ago, yeah?
It's a little bit different, and I personally, I like this black and black. This looks really so powerful already from the car.
Yes. Yeah, I like it too.
So I like this very much, and we have mentioned this before already. Actually, it's also the big pickup truck, but now with high 4T. So now this is also longitudinal, mechanical, all-wheel drive with our 9-speed transmission, but as a hybrid. So we have integrated in the 9-speed transmission not only conventional, like we talked before, also a hybrid version with a P2 motor inside. And the P2 motor is very powerful, I can tell you. So the peak torque is 400 Newton meter.
Just from the motor?
Just from the e-motor.
Wow.
And the peak power is 120 kilowatt.
Oh, wow.
So now you can make the math by yourself, what kind of motor.
Horsepower.
And so on and so on. So you have really a very powerful beast here.
It looks like it. It should be powerful. It looks like it should be powerful, and I'm glad that it is.
Exactly.
So 4-wheel drive, stuff like that, what are we looking at in terms of like differential locks and things like that?
We have all kind of things what off-roader like, so differential
This
lock.
guy gets so excited now. You're talking about locking differential.
As soon as you get into the technicals about it, he's on it, face lights up.
Differential lock in the back, in the front. We have a differential lock in the middle, of course, to lock the rear wheel and the front axle. We have all kind of these things, but also everything is controlled mechanically, so you don't need to stop and make something, so the car is doing for you.
Right. Okay, so it's like mechanical differential locks, but electronically controlled. So you can do it all from within the cabin.
It's not like back in the day where you had to get out, you had to grab a tool, you had to crank something on the hub in order to lock the diff.
Those times are over.
Now it's just you hit a nice button and then you drive through whatever's in front of you.
Exactly. And I want also to mention also in the transfer box, we call it transfer box, which is the transfer between rear axle and front axle. So it's flanged to the back of the transmission. In this transfer box we have 2 gears. We call it 4H, so 4-wheel drive high, and 4L, 4-wheel drive low. So high means the ratio is 1:1. So what comes out of the transmission will be distributed to the wheels. The low means we have an additional ratio. So behind the transmission, we additionally transfer the torque to a higher level. And this ratio is 2.64, which is quite high. Then, of course, you can only use it off-road in a low speed range. I think it's up to 60 or 80. Maybe up to 80 kph you can use it. Then you are in the speed limiter of the engine. But this really gives you even more, because before we talked about power and torque. This gives you more torque on the wheels for off-road conditions.
That ratio is going to magnify the power that's going from the motor and gets to the actual wheels themselves, which means that's the kind of 4 low, of course. If you off-road, you know this. You get stuck in the mud, you're in 4 high. Okay, time to switch it into 4 low, get all the torque you can to the wheels and get yourself out of being stuck.
That's not all, because torque also comes then at the end from the torque converter. So we have a hydraulic torque converter inside. Even it's a hybrid, we combined it with a hydraulic torque converter. And then in the low speed, of course, we didn't lock the torque converter. And in the low speed, when you launch the car, then you get additional ratio from the torque converter. Maybe dynamically 1.3, 1.4. So, and this is the beauty here. We have a hybrid, we have a conventional torque converter, we have the low gear in the back, and then you have you can handle every situation.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm trying to think of what this thing could get stuck in. It's hard to imagine.
Maybe for people who want to have some figures. So the first gear ratio is 5.28. The ratio of as I mentioned before, 4L is 2.64. And then the rear axle, we have different versions, 3.9, 4.1. Then they can calculate by themselves. You have a lot of wheel torque.
This is beyond me at this point.
I know.
Okay.
Next car, guys.
Then we go to the next
one. Car. Let's get out of this. Let's go move cars before he gets too nerdy. I'm a professional car reviewer, and I'm looking at him thinking, this is pretty in-depth stuff right now.
Right. Really getting into the numbers of it. All right, so our last vehicle that we're checking out here, this is the GWM Tank 300 diesel version,
and this is exactly the same engine as we seen in the beginning in power. 2.4 liter.
2.4 T, okay.
So when we were walking over to the first car, I mentioned that one of the vehicles I was very interested in was the Tank 300. And
it's a classic.
It's a classic, and really, in only a few years here in China being on sale, it has become a classic, and they've sold so many of them. I reviewed it for my channel. I was really impressed by it because of the way that it combined kind of the off-road capabilities of a real 4x4 with honestly a much more comfortable ride and steering and things like that of a more like family or maybe more city SUV. So it's
Yes.
actually been very
But
impressive.
still able, a city SUV, but still able to go out off the road.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
This is, and you see it directly from the design.
Right.
So if you see this car, you think, what does it make here on the street? It should be outside in the outback or somewhere.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Very rugged, very kind
Yes.
of, you know, it's kind of got like that boxy kind
Yes.
of classic
Yes.
retro look
Yes,
to it.
yes, yes. And also from powertrain size, in terms of powertrain, we have the diesel engine here, we have the 980, we have the leather frame, we have the mechanical all-wheel drive. So everything we talked about the power, we can also enjoy here.
There we go.
Yeah.
All of that
Awesome.
low down torque. He's at 1,000 RPM,
Yes.
260 Newton meters
Exactly.
of torque already.
Exactly.
Basically an idle.
Yes.
Yeah.
And by the way, I talked about the torque converter here. Of course, the conventional transmission also have a torque converter. And people may think, oh, torque converter is not efficient. Don't worry. We have a lockup clutch, so if we are a little bit more than idle speed, we can close the torque converter, and then the efficiency is very good.
Okay.
All right.
I think it seems like, do you think maybe we could drive one of these?
I mean, that's what
would
I
be-
was thinking.
that
Because we
would be
could sit here and talk all day about the features.
Yes.
would
We
be
could
fun
listen
to
to
drive.
Tobias all day.
I know he could talk to me about these numbers all day.
Yeah, yeah.
I got it memorized.
Yeah, I must break myself to stop talking.
No, it's good.
I think the thing that we really want to see, though, is us getting behind the wheel
Yes.
of
Yes.
one of these babies. So
Yes.
we've got these three models, these three vehicles right here that we're going to be testing out. I say we start off with our GWM Power High 4T
Thank you.
PHEV. What are
Yes.
you guys thinking?
I love it. I cannot wait to get behind the wheel of this thing. Wait, do I get to drive it?
I'm going to let you drive it. I'm going to let
I come
Tobias
together
ride
with
it.
you?
Yes, okay.
I'm going to be nice. I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to let you guys have at it for our first round.
I saw some nice camping chairs over there. You take a break.
Oh,
Yeah.
take a break.
I'm going to
and-
be in the shade.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you guys
Meet you
go
later.
for it. Wheels boy driving,
Yeah.
Tobias in the shotgun.
Okay. See
All
you.
right, have fun, guys.
This is already very convenient to get in.
Yes, it is. Let me see if I can put it into drive. All right. Seatbelts on.
Yes. The weather is so beautiful today. This is perfect for a test drive.
Yes, we are so lucky that we have such a beautiful day to be out here. For those of you that don't know, we're actually quite close to the ocean here, and so we're getting a nice breeze.
Yes.
And the weather, the sun is out, it's beautiful. It's a
Yes.
wonderful day
It
to
is.
drive off-road, or in this case, to simulate some off-road driving.
Yes, we have a beautiful test track here to show the customers every operation mode.
Yeah, I'm excited to see this. We've got all sorts of different scenarios set up, it looks like. I haven't been able to experience these yet. Right now, it looks like we are about to go over, this looks like a series of basically just speed bumps.
Yes, but in this case, the first row is unsynchronized, so you get different frequencies.
Right.
It's
so
not like boom, 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 but you get some different frequencies in there.
Okay, so this is actually going to be really interesting because this is going to allow us to, for me as the driver, to experience what the suspension is like over these bumps. And we're thinking about things like vibration and harshness. I'm going to go over these first in a normal speed. Now, I've driven a lot of pickup trucks, American pickup trucks, Chinese pickup trucks, and I got to tell you, I was impressed by what I just felt. So by having these things be unsynchronized, that means that they're going to be, it's actually going to upset the car even more naturally. So now let's go over these ones.
And
these
even,
are actually...
Even we have a rigid axle in the back.
Yeah.
But even in this, even we have this is very smooth, the driving.
Wow, it is. Let's do this other one up here. It's a slightly different scenario. I'm going to go a little faster. I hope they don't get mad.
Oh, yeah, no. I think camera is shaking. The camera is...
I hope the camera guy can keep up with this. So that was also very impressive. That was very impressive again. So that was a different angle. That was ones where these speed bumps were actually kind of like this, right?
Yes, exactly.
Like this instead of being this.
Exactly. So I call it synchronized. So you have
Yes.
really the same frequency with the same speed.
And so I was very impressed by that. You know, most of the pickup trucks out there, this, again, live rear axle, honestly, I don't expect them to have the ride quality, well, that I just experienced.
Yeah. Yes.
They have they're usually, you know, a little bit more like farm equipment.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I'm gonna go over. It looks like we got another bump up here. So this is two things we're gonna test.
Rollers, yeah.
These rollers, right?
Yes,
So we're
and
gonna
bump, yeah.
it means that some of the wheels are gonna lose traction.
Yes.
Which is gonna test the
So
four-wheel drive system.
Four-wheel drive system.
And then there's also looks like a big old bump there, a
Yes.
big old, maybe like simulating a big pothole.
Like
so
pothole, yeah.
Let's see how smoothly I can just.
So that's amazing. I feel no problem of traction. So the system, the four-wheel drive system, very smoothly distribute the power.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was genuinely very impressive. I was
That's
expecting it to slow down a little bit, to have maybe some slip, you know, and as these four-wheel drive system has to catch up to which wheels have the traction. But
you feel nothing. Maybe you see some symbol in the dashboard, but the feeling is absolutely nothing.
The car's like, hey, listen, I know that there's something going on, but I'm not going to tell you about it. I'm going to take care of it all for you.
And by the way, before you said pickup truck is a farmer car, if the viewers can see the interior here, this is completely nothing but a farmer car. Yeah? This is exactly like at home on the couch. Yeah?
All those farm cars with these big center screens and the digital instrument cluster and the nice seats and everything.
I can sit like at home, very comfortable.
Yes, exactly. So it looks like our next one here is going to be what they call in China is a Jiao Cha Ban, but essentially this is similar to that, but a more extreme one.
Yes.
So we're going to have a situation where two of the four wheels, the opposing wheels like this, are actually going to lose traction completely. They're going to be off the road. They're going to be lifted up. So I'll ease on. So right now, the front right and rear left wheel have completely lifted off the ground. So now we're going to rely on the system to redistribute the torque, right? There we go. And easy peasy. Baby.
Easy peasy. Of course, we have some slip because it's also different kind of grip on the road. It's not the same like over there, but the car can handle it very well.
It did. It was. I think I might have driven over it wrong, but I tell you what, the car was pretty much unfazed by it.
Yes. So you didn't have any off the track.
No. Yeah. The car was very much under control. Yes. Okay. So it looks like our next one, kind of a similar one, but we got on the right side, we've got what basically looks like a staircase.
Like a ramp and staircase on the right side, yes.
And then left is this ramp. So again, it's simulating differences in traction and
traction.
grip.
So every wheel have to have a different kind of power and torque.
Exactly. So the car needs to be able to distribute that torque to the proper wheel to get over the obstacle. That's always the goal. I mean, essentially, that's off-roading in a nutshell, right?
Yes.
It's being able to make sure that the torque and the power goes where it needs to go.
That you have enough torque and power. This we have, powertrain we have explained, and that you distribute it to the right wheel.
Exactly.
To the correct wheel.
Exactly. Yeah. It's making sure that goes where it needs to go, because you know, it's if you take a vehicle that doesn't have one of these systems off-road, then what you end up doing is what you end up having to deal with is the fact that, you know, all the power, one wheel's just going to spin, right?
Yeah.
So let's do this. Let's over our next one. Let's lock some of these differences. You know, I just realized, silly me, I went over that obstacle. It made it over that obstacle. I hadn't even locked.
But even without the lock,
it
was okay.
It was fine. So I'm locking.
I thought we had the bad luck because now we wanted to show and it doesn't work, but we didn't use the lock. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to hit this. I think I actually need to put it into park here.
For the lock.
For the lock. There we go.
Yeah, now we need some time.
There you go. And
so
now
the front differential, rear differential.
We are good to go, I think. So
wait a moment.
That is what we call user error.
Yeah.
But
the car can handle.
But the car was perfectly fine.
Yes.
All right. So this is going to be much better. So now we're turning on the locks. I'm lucky I have a transmission expert with me who's going to be able to make sure that
who can push the buttons.
Who can push the buttons. He's an expert. Not only is he great at math, he's a handsome guy, he's great at pushing buttons.
But yes, push the button is important.
There we go. So let's put it back into drive. So this is going to have a...
And by the way, now we are in EV mode. So this is also interesting because now
so quiet.
Yes, quiet but powerful.
It's quiet but powerful.
But if the car needs more power, immediately it will start the engine.
Easy peasy. Okay. Let's get to the top. I like to pause for dramatic effect.
Yes.
And then we begin the descent. So now it's switched. I believe the staircase will be on the left
so
side.
I turn off the lock, by the way. This I can do on the fly.
That's right.
Yes.
So now the lock is off. And then now we want to turn off the lock. Why? Because we need to turn around right here.
And I think because before we make the little mistake, we make a second round. And the other one we do with the lock again later.
That's right.
Yeah, I think.
Actually, you know what? Let my mistake be beneficial for the viewer.
Yes.
They can now see what the difference will be once you're using.
Yes.
There you go.
And it's also beneficial for us because we can make a second round. It's very enjoyable.
Yeah, this is really fun. So I'm really glad that I get to do it again.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay, so here we go. The engine just turned off.
Turn off
and
again.
Now it's in full
I'm not
EV
sure,
mode.
did it start before? Did you hear something from the engine? Because this also I want to mention, so if the engine starts during the hybrid drive, you can almost not hear.
I mean,
sometimes you must look here if it shows the engine speed or not.
Yes, that is my experience with a lot of these PHEVs, is that they're so quiet that sometimes, I don't even know when the motor has turned on. We've got the windows rolled down, so I can hear it in this case. But if I were in the city and I was sitting in a stoplight, no.
And I can also, if it's interesting, maybe too much details, but I can tell you why. Because we have a 12-volt starter for a cold condition, but in a condition like this, the engine is cranked by the P2 motor.
Oh, so more power from the motor means you
and
can crank faster,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And that's really useful because, when I think back to these cars I reviewed years ago when they had these early stop-start systems especially, then you had to deal with
the 12-volt starter.
The 12-volt starter, it was almost like gung, 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 boom, And it was actually it was annoying, honestly.
Yes, and many people switched off then the start-stop function.
Yes, exactly. And, you want to, it's not fuel efficient.
Exactly. So now we make the second round.
In the second round, this time what I want to do is I want to do it slowly. Now this is a different kind of challenge for the suspension and for the experience. So this is going to actually accentuate the bumps.
Yes.
So we're going to get, in theory, we would get more tossing back and forth, right? But I'm honestly not feeling very much, are you?
No. And also camera was not shaking, so everything is fine.
No, there we go. So let's do this next one.
Now the synchronized bumper, so we do exactly the same round like before.
I'm gonna go fast, you ready?
Yes.
I can't help it. I said I was gonna go slow, but I can't help it.
Yeah, it's too much fun.
You give me this much power, you give me a truck that can do this, and I'm not gonna want to go slow. Okay.
So now comes the roller.
Now we come to the rollers, yes. Let's move up, Again, it's so funny. I can hear they've got this is in EV mode, so it's got the low speed warning.
Yes.
So it's got the warning for the people around.
Exactly. So probably you can also choose here the sound what the car is making.
Could.
Yeah.
All right, let's go over again. I'm gonna go even faster.
Yes.
Ready?
That's fun.
It is a lot of fun. We have a pretty cool job, don't we?
It is, yeah. So they should not pay us because it's already so much fun.
Shh, don't tell them that. Do not tell them. We can't let them know how much we enjoy what we do.
Yes.
So I think in the next we are going to go back over that obstacle and again.
And this time before we stop and activate the lock.
We're going to turn on the lock.
Yes.
And that is going to mean that it's going to be, I'm sure, even more sure-footed.
Yes.
And it's a sure-footed
because before we had some slip. I can hear it. I'm not sure the customer if they see from outside we had some slip.
We did.
But the car was stable. Now it will be a different experience.
Right.
Yeah.
So sure-footed as a billy goat, as a mountain goat. That's what we're trying to be. Let's come back around again. I will stop, and we will turn on those locks.
So now my job comes.
Yes, the button pusher.
Push the button.
Thank you. Let me put it into park.
Maybe I was too early. Push too early.
You're good.
No, it's already.
Let's do the front one.
Yes.
And?
It's green. Everything okay?
It's green. Good to go.
Yes.
Now
we start in EV again.
We do. Yeah, it's just so funny to be able
here
to.
you see this little EV. Then
Yeah,
you see
that's the only reason I would know, really.
Yeah.
And, okay, we are...
Now we are...
Should be 2 wheels off.
Yes.
Okay. Now forward.
Oh, no slip.
See, that was
no
easy.
Slip.
That was way easier.
But you're right. It's good that we make it different before. Then the customer can directly see the benefit of this piece of technology.
And honestly, as a driver, it's really, really interesting to be able to see that, to be able to feel that difference. It's one of those things where I know this equipment is there. I know that it works.
Yes.
But to have such a, black and white comparison of this is with it, this is without it. It's actually really cool for me.
Yeah.
I love to be able to
do
do
it's
that.
very good that we make it live. Because if it would be a big video, maybe we would not show this
yes,
little
that's
mistake.
right. That's the benefit. That's the benefit. I think that for this next one,
we can unlock it.
We can unlock it. How about that? Oh, I'm sorry, I took your job.
No problem, but we do it together, so it's teamwork.
1, 2, 3.
And by the way, the other button here is 4L, so the customer can also actively choose the 4L. Here we don't need, but this is also just a button away.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, it's like I mentioned before when we were doing the looking at the vehicles, I was saying that it used to be that you had to literally get out, you remember, and physically turn something to actually activate or turn on or lock the diffs rather. And it's kind of great.
By the way, because I just now have a small look to the back, I almost forgot that we sit in a pickup truck. Because the cabin, this is double cabin, is comfortable like a Tank 500.
Yes, it's very roomy. All right, let's head up. Let's do this one again. This is one I will not do super fast because I don't feel like driving off the edge
just
of
wanted to say the cameraman in front of us is sweating, but maybe not because of the car, because of the weather.
Do you know what I want to point out? Is that, it's parking sensors. Is that we've got the transparent chassis. So I can see everything
What is below the car.
It's very useful when I'm looking straight up at this. All I can see is sky. And then all of a sudden...
It's not only transparent hood, which some other benchmark cars also have, but it's really transparent chassis.
Exactly. It's really, really useful.
Yes.
And so, let's just hang out here on this slope for a second.
Yes. And you can see here, I'm not sure if the viewers can see it now. So we have here also beautiful screen. We have all kinds of apps you can imagine. Of course, now everything is in Chinese, but you have here the maps. You have you can see here probably the power flow.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah,
so
you can see the power flow. Yeah, now you see the SOC. So state of charge of the battery is 46%. And you also see the range, so the total range now would be still 940.
943?
Yes, and only by fuel 800. So this is really very, very good for the consumer to see the performance of the car.
I think you're absolutely right. I think, though, it's come to that point where we get to switch to a new car.
Yes, and then probably we shall ask Jack also to drive with you because he is eager to have this experience too.
Oh, that's true. I do want to give Jack a chance.
Yes.
So maybe I park it right here.
Park the car somewhere that this does not, because I think you will drive the same round to have exactly the same driving operation modes.
Yeah, I think I'm going to switch, but I'm going to do it with Jack.
Yeah.
And so we'll wait for him to come over. He's off somewhere having.
We still can enjoy here so comfortably.
I know, right?
Don't need a living room anymore. Your car is enough.
It's so funny, yeah.
Yes.
In China, they say da shafa, which means big sofa seats.
Yes.
Yeah. And so this is definitely qualifies as that. It's super comfortable just to hang out and sit in here. So I have no problem.
All this, I like this big screen. So this is not only super high definition. Also, you have here. Do you see the high car functionality?
Oh yeah.
You have the maps.
All the smart features.
All these things. So this is great.
All right. I'm gonna leave you for now.
Yeah, I think we get out together and then it's Jack's turn.
That's right.
Yeah.
So. We've checked out the Power, the the High 4T. Now we are going to move on to I believe we got it. This is the H9. All right, and I'm gonna do it with Jack.
Now it's Jack turn. So you will love it. This is really fantastic.
All right. Well, sorry, Tobias. I'm gonna have to steal your spot for a second.
See you later. Yeah.
But you'll be back soon.
So why don't you go ahead and take the passenger seat, and I am gonna get behind the driver's seat. I'm lucky. I'm the designated driver today.
Haval H9.
All right.
Ooh, all right.
Ooh, this is definitely a different experience than the Power, which was already very luxurious, but I like that this has a totally different, being a different brand, this has got a different design language in here. I like this big, giant center screen. That's a common feature. And it's something that...
high def, dude. Look at that. I'm looking at the Himalayas right here.
It is definitely very, very high definition. You've got a ton of smart features in here, just like in that Power. What I like, you've got these physical buttons down here.
Yeah.
Something I see in a lot of these, I like to see in a lot of the Haval GWM is they've got physical buttons and not just everything in the screen. Right. A lot of these smart EVs and cars that I drive these days, they have only
a monitor.
Only a monitor, yeah. And it's nice, it looks cool, but man, it's not that convenient.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jack, I'm gonna introduce this to you. This is
what is this right here?
Yeah, Tobias and I just did this, but now we're trying it in the H9. So what we're looking at now is we're looking at a series of speed bumps, and these are asynchronous. So instead of being on one plane like this, so we would just have a one bump, it basically doubles the number of bumps.
It looks like there were speed bumps and someone came and just trashed them.
Exactly. So I'm going to go
total
over
disarray. Ooh.
pretty quick.
It actually doesn't really feel like I'm going over speed bumps much.
Yes, I know, right?
What's up with that?
So that was a different experience. That was a different experience than the Power pickup. I'll tell you, that was super comfortable, but this is more of a family big SUV, so it is even more comfortable. Now, let's do a different challenge. These are also asynchronous, but these are at a different angle like this, and so this is going to be an even more, a different experience. Let's do it nice and slow.
I feel like it's like running track with like the hurdles. Like we're on the hurdle course.
Did you run track in high school?
No, I did not. I was never that fast.
I did, but I only did the hurdles one time, and it was bad.
Yeah, hurdles, like you can't mess up once, you're screwed for like the rest of it.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah.
I definitely, I was a long distance runner. You know what? Right. I'm like the high force system because they can combine pure electric.
Got that range.
Exactly, pure electric and ice range and gas range, and so they can go really far. So that was me. That was me.
Going over these speed bumps right here, like, because it just feels like, you know, typically when you go over a speed bump, you really have to slow down your car.
Right.
And you're still going to get jolted. But there it must be like the chassis, that suspension system. I guess they really fine tune it so that so much of that shock is just absorbed away.
Right, and so we got to see that it's very comfortable. Now we're going to see it. It's first kind of maybe.
I don't even understand what I'm looking at.
These rollers are meant to simulate a loss of traction or a difference in traction between the four wheels, and then we've got, boom, a big old bump. So that is that's gonna upset the chassis, but it's also gonna simulate hitting a big old maybe a big old pothole or something, and it's gonna test what kind of vibrations we're getting into the cabin. I don't know you. But I didn't feel a lot of vibrations coming into the cabin.
Right, and I noticed that it kind of it didn't really spin out. None of the wheels really stalled out, even going over like those spinners.
Right.
That we saw right there. I guess that kind of simulates like, I don't know, like sand conditions
for
wet
example,
conditions.
Exactly. So it's something where you have a road, there's just muddy patches, wet patches, snowy patches, ice, and the car needs to be able to respond to that and be able to give the power to the wheels where it's needed. So this is an even more extreme example of this. So what's going to happen here?
Crazy.
Can you do me a favor? So last time it was Tobias who was my official button pusher. Can you hit that button right there?
Official button pusher. Say no more.
So what is happening?
Which one is this?
This is the rear differential lock.
Okay.
So now that we've locked the rear differential, what that means is that we're going to be able to, it's going to be able to distribute power to the wheel that has the most grip. So when I do this, for example,
I imagine we're having some tires up in the air and then some in contact.
Exactly. So right now we're floating. We've got these front right and back left are floating, and now I'm going to keep going. And so now it didn't even pause.
It's still going. You would think that you've pretty much got your wheels on the ground the whole time.
Exactly. So, button man, hit that button again. Let's open that. Let's unlock it, rather.
Okay.
So now we're going to go to a different challenge. So this is a ramp where on the right we've got these steps, and on the left we've got a smooth ramp. The other side is the opposite.
Okay.
And so that is going to allow us to again simulate a difference in traction.
Right.
And that is where these systems need to step in and say, okay, I'm smart. I can sense that this wheel has more traction, so I'm going to put more power to that wheel.
So I don't even have to turn on the differential locks here.
No. This is all going to be the four-wheel drive system. Ooh. And right, just like that, see that little moment where it went, okay, and there we go. So we pointed this out when we was doing it with Tobias. This is where this transparent chassis is really, really useful.
Right.
Now we're going down.
And you got to think about kind of like the clearance of this vehicle as well, the departure and the approach angle coming up on stairs like that.
Yes. So absolutely very good point. So approach and departure angle are incredibly important when it comes to off-roading.
Yeah.
We also have what's called the breakover angle, which is determined by the height of the car off the ground.
Right.
And so basically, if you go over a big hump, you don't just get stuck on it like this, right? So that just demonstrated, as did the one we just did with the with the wheels lifting off the ground,
right?
That the approach and departure angles on this vehicle, while it is a big 7-seat family SUV, they're also good enough that they can that you can be able to do some what would be pretty challenging off-road things for your average, you know, mid-sized family SUV.
Right. It's amazing to think that this would be a vehicle that you could just be, you know, doing your daily, day-to-day commuting, you know, in the city, going to work, dropping the kids off at school, but at the same time, you know, just at the flip of a dime on a whim, you could take this thing anywhere, really. You could drive, like, if you were just feeling like, oh, it's Friday, I'm off work, screw it. I'm going to the desert, and I'm just going to drive it there. You don't, you know, have to rent a specific car. It's that same car, and you just take it on out.
Exactly. So let's go over these bumps again. I want to give you a chance to feel the vibrations or see the lack thereof. And I'm going real slow. So the slow speed is actually more of a challenge because when you go faster, the vibrations or the bumps are so close to each other that it almost just kind of ends up smoothing out. The frequencies are higher.
Okay.
But this low frequency, this is actually kind of more challenging. You will feel it more in your butt because it's like, whoom.
Your vehicle has the time to sink back down.
Right, as opposed to brrr.
Right. You start gliding over them.
So let's, thank you, that's the word. You're gliding over them. Now, we don't want to glide. We want to just crawl over.
But really, though, I mean, like in a lot of vehicles that I've driven before, you know, you go over the speed bump, and I really do my best that, like, if I can, I'm driving around the entire speed bump.
Absolutely, yes.
Because it's not just for the sake of my car. I don't like my butt getting, like, just beat up every time I'm going over a speed bump.
I like some cars have massaging seats, but I don't need to get massaged by speed bumps.
Yeah. I got a guy for that. I got a guy who does great massages. I don't need that for my vehicle.
Yeah, but that was, again, that was a good demonstration of that. And I do feel like it was very, very smooth over that. So let's go over these rollers again. And I really want you to do me a favor. Try and see if you can feel it losing any kind of traction.
Right, because I see the rollers going into it.
I'll even stop on it. There we go. Let's go in the bump. And now let's get out of the bump.
Yeah.
There we go. So you could, when I stopped right on top of the roller, it was really cool because you could hear the system actively going, okay, power, 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 there. And sending it exactly where it needed to go.
I feel like I felt like a little bit of vibration of the wheels coming in contact with the rollers. But when you talk about kind of the power output and like the consistency of, you know, the propulsion forward.
Right.
It doesn't really spin out at all. You don't have any stall outs. And especially how you see like they're kind of staggered on each side.
Yes.
So you could kind of like, you would be able to feel yourself shifting left and right, but not at all.
No.
Not at all.
I mean, generally from behind the wheel. I mean, if the system wasn't doing its job, I might even be able to feel some kind of pulling on the wheel. So, you know what you need to do now?
Oh.
Remember your job button, man.
All
there
right.
we go.
I'm learning.
Traction control is off. That means the fun can start.
I'm like AI. I slowly learn your preferences. I know now it's rear differential time. I'm going to put ChatGPT out of work.
And...
So right here, we've got like diagonal suspension, right?
We're floating.
Woo! Oh, that's a little fun.
I made it a little more dramatic that time.
All right. That time.
Now, button man, go.
All right, turn it off, and now we're just gonna let it do its thing.
Yes, exactly. So this is where more the, I'll call on-demand four-wheel drive comes in.
Right. They talk about with a lot of these GWM models the intelligent four-wheel drive system, where this vehicle it's essentially able to monitor in real time its environment, its conditions, the road around it and below it, and it kind of is able to react to that automatically itself.
And what that means for you behind the wheel, as Tobias pointed out, right, when it comes to, you got all these motors and you got this engine, it's everything. It's like, you don't have to do anything. It's taking care of it for you.
It sounds overwhelming. It sounds overwhelming.
But it's really just doing it for you, right?
I like also how you see this camera system we have. It's like the 360. It's not just a 360-degree camera where you see all around you. You also have what they call that transparent chassis, right? So you can see right under the vehicle, you know, what's going on. You have full peak awareness of everything around you.
Exactly. Now, I think I might have some bad news. Are we gonna? I think I get to go to.
I think I'm getting the boot again.
You are. I think Tobias is coming back
in. Yeah. But now I believe this round. So we've just kind of taken those two courses, right? Now I think we're going on the more extreme course.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be, listen. Yeah. I'm gonna be smart, and I'm gonna let somebody who knows more about driving off-road take care of the driving. But I think now Tobias is gonna join me in the car.
I'm just getting the heck out of the car. I'm not risking it. I've seen that teeter-totter up there.
I'm a little nervous.
Yeah. All right.
I'm a little bit nervous, but I feel like I'm probably in good hands here with these professional drivers. But
yeah, we got the professional drivers. Sorry,
so,
Tobias.
Yes,
I gotta put you
I
in
see you all smiling, so that must be as much fun as for me here, right?
I'm gonna let you do this risky one
Actually,
right here.
while you are driving, I was strolling around and looked to the seesaw, and I'm now really excited to go here.
Yeah, guess what? It's your turn again.
It's a roller coaster, really.
Yes.
Well, where is our professional driver?
The car is here already. I think the driver's inside.
He's already inside.
Now we enjoy.
You guys hop in.
And now we enjoy the Tank 300.
Tank 300 diesel version. Go for it.
Why don't I take a seat here?
You go in the front, I believe.
I'm gonna go in the front.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I get to be in the passenger seat. Oh, I get the scariest seat. I can see everything. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, it turns out I am in the back seat.
You are in the back seat, and then I go out again.
Yep. So you go in the back seat on the right.
We are both
I'm
in
gonna
the
be
back
on
seat.
the left.
So, but then I can show. This is very convenient to go in here. So you have this side.
And then you step,
side step, and then it's really, really good.
The 300. Okay. This one's one of my favorites. I'm excited.
300 diesel.
The diesel.
And I think we can also make use of the power and torque here on this.
For sure. One of the interesting things about this experience for me is that, again, I'm a reviewer of Chinese cars. I've driven the 2-liter turbocharged version of this car. But as you said, oh, thank you. We got a fold-down armrest here. As you said, this diesel isn't actually for sale here in the Chinese market. Yes. So without this experience, I wouldn't have a chance to even ride in this car.
Yes.
So I'm pretty excited to check it out. As an American, diesels, well, I'm not as familiar with them. The Europeans, with Americans, it's usually, we think about them being in really big trucks. It's very cool for me to see these smaller displacement ones, but with so much power in these smaller, kind of like a compact SUV like this. It's exciting.
And also, this is why it's so popular in Europe. Actually, you have a lot of torque.
Yes.
The consumption is very low for the diesel.
Yes.
So that's why such big cars in Europe, you mainly drive with a diesel engine.
Okay, it's going to be hard for me to talk about anything else right now.
Now we see already approaching the slope.
We are going up. So this is going to be one of those moments when you're doing some kind of off-roading where all you can see is
yes.
All you can see is sky.
Or you cannot see only the sky. Yeah?
All you can see is sky.
Like take off in the
I hope he doesn't drive off the end.
Yes.
I hope he doesn't drive off the end, Tobias.
I think it will.
Oh, here we go.
Now already
now
we're down.
We're gonna get flat, I think.
By the way,
this is very
if you
strange.
hear, do you hear any strange noise from the engine? Because sometimes the people think, oh, diesel is for tractor or something.
Can I
but
impersonate my impersonation of a diesel?
Yeah. But here it's very beautiful. Nothing.
No, NVH, noise, vibration, harshness, right? It's actually surprisingly quiet.
Yes. Also with the high torque before, there's high power now.
Yeah,
no,
it went. It went up that slope like it was nothing.
Yes. But going down is also interesting. So this is a new experience.
It is. It's hard for, I think, people to get, and this is my experience making videos. It's hard for people to get an impression of how steep a slope is.
Yes.
So that's why I'm letting the gravity just pull me forward. It's that steep.
Yeah, you're right.
That was. I mean, easy peasy. So. It looks like we got one more challenge
now
here.
Another one will come where we have a slope like...
the side slope.
Side slope, used to call it, yes.
So side slope, in my impression, what a side slope is testing is one, traction.
Yes.
Right? And another important thing, because, what's the scariest thing one of the scariest things that can happen?
Fall down.
Yes, in your off-roading is this,
yes.
right? So this is going to be things like the weight distribution of the vehicle. If this guy and engineers like him don't do their job, then you're talking about a top-heavy vehicle. Well, you're gonna roll over. Also, this test articulation.
Yes.
So this is showing that I'm gonna fall out the window.
You think now you roll over, but it's stable. There's no problem.
It is impressively stable. I'm not stable. I'm about to fall out the window.
I come to you here.
I'm glad I have handles here.
But you are right. So you see this very often in the video, but you must really experience this in the car. This is completely different. Yeah.
It's like driving a racing simulator versus driving a real race car, right?
Yeah. Because you need to have the forces on your body to pull you into the bed.
Exactly. And there we go. And so articulation is super important because we're wanting to make sure that as many wheels as possible are making contact with the ground.
Yes.
So we can put power down efficiently, and then that way we can get over whatever's in front of us. So
and you can imagine also if you are in this condition, so the wheels which are on the bottom line need more torque than on the top. This is also, then we are back in the all-wheel drive on the all-wheel drive system.
Right.
Distribution.
So it's it's a different challenge than it would be for some obviously just flat ground. Like this.
Exactly.
So I think
now
that
he is switching off the locks.
Yes. We are going back to too high.
Yeah.
Right? So this will be your most fuel efficient mode. This is the one that most people, if they're smart, are going to drive around in during the commuting time. And then you hit a button,
and
you're
then
off
you have
road.
4L.
Yeah. 4L, yeah.
Or 4 high or 4L, depends. Yeah.
Whatever you prefer. Whatever is appropriate.
Or whatever you need.
So is this considered this four-wheel drive system? Would this be considered an on-demand four-wheel drive system, or you have to hit the button and then it goes and then it does it?
We have both. We have an automatic mode.
That's right.
That also shift automatically.
That's right. So, I was talking to Jack about the fact that the cool thing about these systems, whether it's the powertrain you were saying with this motor, that motor, this engine, you don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
The car's going to take care of it.
Exactly.
And same thing with you can do the four-wheel drive, so you can just say to the car, hey, put it in automatic. The car says, okay, I'm obviously driving a flat ground, good grip, higher speeds, too high.
But still the customer has the choice. Yeah? I mean, at the end, yeah.
Oh, now we're coming around to it. Looks like
another water
one.
Wading water wading test.
Here we go. Yeah. We're going swimming.
So by the way, I can give you a figure here. So the water wading we can do up to 700 millimeters, so 70 centimeter.
Wow.
We can do the water wading.
That's a lot.
With our off-road cars.
That is a lot. You know, it's funny. Most PHEVs with a big battery pack, they wouldn't. Well, I say this. This applies to both the high force systems with the PHEV as well. You know, you wouldn't want to take the car. Most cars, let's talk about your regular commuter car. 70 centimeters of water is going to be a real challenge.
Yeah, it is. And this is what we ensure. In fact, you can even go to a deeper one. I saw some videos. Some customer go even through a deeper one. Was possible.
That's an interesting question for you as an engineer. I imagine it's got to be funny to see these videos online of people
what they are really doing with the cars.
You're two parts, right? On the one hand, you got to be proud to say, look at the car I helped make.
Exactly.
It can do even better than we said.
Yes.
But then you're also very nervous. You're like, don't hurt. I made that car. Don't hurt that car.
But this car, they are so robust. They can do everything. And I mean, it's not by accident. I mean, we make it like this. Yeah, of course.
Yes,
we do also extensive testing with this car. Yeah?
Of course. I'm sure you guys drive these things through some pretty impressively deep puddles before you before you hand it off to the consumer.
Yes.
So we're going up on the ramp here.
So now we jump into the pool.
I'm looking forward to seeing the
transparent chassis.
That's
how it looks
cool.
in the pool. Yeah.
I'm very curious. I've never seen it. And
now I can hear already the water.
We're on the precipice. Yes, we're getting in. It's sink or swim time,
as we say. Now you see the waves on the screen.
That's very cool. Yes. That's very cool to be able to see that. I don't know, you see any water?
I can see, but it's not. It doesn't come in.
I want to know if you see any on the inside.
No, inside, no. But outside we have.
Let's make a rule here. Water on the outside, okay. Water on the inside,
bad thing.
Very bad.
Yeah.
But no, all I see is soft seats.
Yes, and comfortable.
That's right. And now we're getting out.
Out of the water.
We're going to shake the water off like a dog.
Yes.
And easy peasy.
And out again.
No problem. Again, we're testing it's interesting, you get wet tires, wet brakes.
Wet, and now wet on the next slope.
And we got these wet tires, and we're going up
this
big hump that we're going to have to go over. Now, this is an example, I think, of what I was explaining to Jack. We talk about approach angle, departure angle, and breakover angle, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So breakover, you want to worry about you're going over a hump on a trail or something, and you don't want to get bottom out on it, and then you do become a teeter-totter, right?
Yes.
That's not good. Yeah. So you need to have the ground clearance necessary to negotiate a kind of hump like this.
You're right.
And so, again, you said, right now the wheels are wet. This is an even more of a challenge.
And now we are on the slope.
Yeah. And so that's going to make it more challenging.
This is actually maybe even more challenging than the other slope with a wet tire.
Yes.
Because the water was a lone-brainer. For this car, it was a low-brainer. It was very easy. You can feel nothing. But now it's very...
didn't even blink.
Yes. But also now we are already over the hill, so fantastic.
We're gonna get that big satisfying clunk when we move on to
Yes,
there it
yeah,
went.
yeah, yeah.
There it went. Man, I'm just thinking about how much fun it would be to take this thing off-road.
In the real,
to get it into
yes,
well,
out.
one of the things that I really like, and this is something we'll be able to experience, I think, if we can take one of these vehicles, a high floor vehicle through this. You know, I'll save this thought actually
Yes.
for the high floor.
Yes.
But I just thinking about how much fun it would be to take this thing off-road.
Off-road, yes,
Man,
yes.
that's the thing. Living where I live in China, I live in big cities, and you got to take a pretty far drive to get to some off-roading. I'm jealous of some of our people that are watching me that live abroad.
Yes.
You know, they can get access to beautiful off-road trails much more easily.
But on the other hand, this is the beauty of China. You have all kind of conditions you can have inside of the country. Even it's far away, but it's still in China. So for our testing of the vehicles, we go to the high altitude, we go to the winter, we go to the summer, we go to the sand, we go everywhere. We have everything here. Yeah.
Anything you guys need, you guys can do here. It's actually, that's a really good point. Imagine as an engineer, that's very convenient.
Yes.
You got to be traveling a lot though, I bet.
Yes, for test drive. But on the other hand, we have also high level testing equipment in Baoding. So we can also simulate like environmental things in the test room.
I've seen some of those systems, like the shakers and stuff.
Shakers, a low temperature with
Yes.
a high flow. We can simulate rain, we can simulate sun intensity, also everything we can also do in testment. But of course, more fun is to go outside.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course. Yes, it's always nice to get outside. It's always good to get outside, touch grass,
Yes,
as we say.
yes.
It's good to touch grass.
Because then it's a reality. Yeah, then this is really what the customer can also drive. Customer will not drive in the wind tunnel.
That's exactly. Look, you tell me the customer doesn't get on one of the shakers where each wheel is on a platform and go like this.
Exactly. So now I'm surprised. Will they let us drive a second round, or?
What we say? Are we going to do another round in the beautiful Tank 300?
Maybe,
I think.
Maybe we are lucky.
I don't know this teeter totter. Listen. I trust the car. I trust this driver.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of extremely talented professional drivers here at this event. But I got to tell you, I cannot help but have that natural human fear.
Yes, yeah. A little bit nervous is always necessary.
Whenever I lose sight of the
It looks
ground.
like we make a second round, yes.
Okay, yes, okay, we're doing it again. We're doing it again.
But this is in the roller coaster the same. You're always a little bit nervous, and then you like it very much.
Maybe you're happy when it's done.
Yeah. And by the way, now we do the second round, and I believe tires are still a little bit wet.
The tails will be a little bit
wet, yes.
I'm looking for slip. I'm trying to feel it. I'm trying to listen for it.
I'm always looking the dashboard. Also, there is no indication.
I'm sorry. It's so good to be on camera and not have to pretend. I am actually nervous. This is not acting, folks. This is real nerves. Because this is not an experience you normally have in life to get on a giant teeter-totter.
Yeah.
And now I'm just going to naturally let my body fall forward. Are you ready?
Yes. Into the belt.
So now
into the belt brake.
Yeah. Now I'm just, this is where I would be sitting if I didn't flex my abs and let my push back. And yet for the Tank 300, not a problem.
No problem.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Drama-free.
Yes.
Drama-free is what you want to see.
Looks like a blow-brainer, but the technical beyond is working intelligent.
Exactly. It's one of those things where, let's say, most impressive, kind of systems, mechanical systems, whether we're talking about making a fast sports car or making a great off-roader, what's impressive is when you have a system that's doing its job so well that it kind of melts into the background.
Yes.
And you can just kind of let it take care of everything for you.
Exactly.
So we're going on the slide slope. So now instead of getting the forces this way, I'm going to get them to the side.
Exactly. So I will move to your side again.
And you're going to come sit with me. I'm glad we have this.
Yeah. So we have some.
Otherwise, you'd be on top of me. So we're articulating. I bet you that back right wheel's, off the ground. Now it's back touching again. I keep waiting for it to
you can see in the dashboard, I can also see the angle, if I'm right. So now it's 22 degrees.
I think that's your pitch.
So, yes.
No, pitch is this way, right?
Should be
yaw.
Yes.
All right.
So it should be 30 degrees now. If I see it correctly here from the back, it should be 30 degrees. This is a lot.
30 degrees?
Yeah.
I don't like going up 30-degree slopes, let alone going sideways. I mean, truly, these side slopes are one of the most dangerous things you can do in off-roading, right?
Yes.
It's just something you don't want to do.
If you roll over,
yes,
then you have a problem.
If you don't know what you're doing, folks, don't get out. You look up all the videos online of people, you know, it's sand dunes or it's just a muddy hill or something. If you get sideways, you get too much angle, you're coming over. So you want a vehicle that's not going to do that.
Exactly. So now he stopped, was in N, make the differential lock off, and now we have the normal drive again.
There we go.
Yes.
You know, one of the things that I wish they could demonstrate for us that I really like to see is the trail turn.
Yes.
So, so if I recall correctly, trail turn with these off-road vehicles, you're going to lock one of those rear wheels and then basically just pivot around it, right?
Exactly.
And so that means that you can make some incredibly tight turns.
But this thing, you should better do it on sand or on stones, because here for the tire is better not to do it on this ground.
It would be very rough. We would have the car would be filled with the smell of
tire
burning
exactly.
rubber.
But I also want to experience this. This must be fun. Yeah.
Can I be honest with you? When I borrowed the Tank 300 for our video on the channel, I did a trail turn on the pavement.
So and it was exciting, I think.
It could do it, no problem, but I felt bad.
Yeah.
Do you understand? There's a concept we have called mechanical sympathy.
Yes.
So some people you meet, engineers, a lot of them, they have no mechanical sympathy, so they can push a car to its absolute limits and not feel bad.
Yes.
I don't have that.
Yeah.
I think
pain.
I don't want to break it. I don't want to break it.
You feel painful with this.
I'm one of those people that really connects with their vehicles, that, you know, puts a lot of emotion into them.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I love to go out and you've got a fast car, I'll slide it and everything, but there's always that limit that some people can go through that I cannot.
Yeah.
Because I feel bad for the car.
For the material.
It's silly, but it's human.
Yeah. The empathy.
Empathy, exactly.
So now the pool comes again, the water bathing.
The pool.
Yes.
Which we know this is going to be no problem.
No problem, yes.
I dare you to reach down, try to touch the water.
I feel, but I will not do it now, I feel that probably even the door is higher than the water level. We can directly jump out into the water.
Well, then it's a great example of why you have to have good ground clearance.
It's the ground clearance, exactly.
Because if I were to try, first of all, most cars wouldn't be able to get up this initial slope.
Yes.
But then they would get in here.
And also over this now, because now the change of the slope, positive, negative, is quite small.
Yes, exactly.
So the front wheels are already on the way down, and the rear wheels were still on the way up.
So we're on that breakover angle, right?
Yes, breakover angle.
But yes, I'm just picturing, hey, you know, I grew up in North Carolina where I grew up. We had some flooding sometimes. It would have been nice to be able to just go right through it.
Yes. And you know, in Baoding, the headquarters of Great Wall Motors, we have not so much rain, but if it rains, then you have really a lot of flooding on the roads. So this is exactly the good car for such a...
No wonder you guys are the ones that produce this. It makes sense now.
Yeah.
You guys have a need for it.
We have a need. And we can do, so why not?
Classic engineer spirit.
Exactly.
Hey, we can do it, why not?
So let's do it.
That's what I love. As a car reviewer, I love talking to engineers, because I find I can relate to them a lot. You know, you and I, obviously, before we're talking, we love power.
Yes.
We love power.
And torque.
And torque.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Power
Transmission engineer.
Yeah. Must
torque.
Love torque.
That's so funny to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, again, I guess you said as a transmission engineer, that's what you think about the most is
yes,
the torque.
It's a torque.
How to get that torque to the wheels,
yes.
how to magnify that
how
torque.
How my gear can transfer the torque, because the power is not the big issue. The torque is the issue.
That's exactly right.
Mechanically, yeah.
Well, it's so funny. I mean, I think that as an American, we talked about, you know, big engines and stuff, these big motors.
Yes.
The benefit of them is low-end torque.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You drive torque is what we say.
Exactly.
So when you're setting up from the stoplight, you're not feeling the horsepower, you're feeling
the torque. Exactly. This is why also the beauty from all this hybrid and electric drive. You have the high torque and the low speed.
Because an electric motor makes torque from when?
From zero. But
zero.
As an engineer, I want to say it's wrong.
Technically,
why? Technically, it's wrong, because technically at zero you have no torque, because zero is zero. Yeah. So
anything
maybe it's
above
0.0000. and then you have it.
All the way out of here.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
you're
it-
right. You're
yeah.
right. But no, you're right. You're right.
This
That
is very
also,
detailed.
That's the fun thing about talking to engineers is they're not metaphorical. You guys are all about the math and the
Yes,
facts.
yes.
And I appreciate that.
Yes.
It keeps reviewers from me from going a little bit overboard.
Exactly.
Being a little bit too literary.
Yes. But even here we have no e-motor on site, and we have the diesel engine.
No,
And
yes.
have already a low speed, very high torque.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you were saying
Also-
this 2.4 liter turbo, it's got like 260 newton meters
At
from just
1,000.
at 1,000.
At 1,000 already.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So we're transferring now down to
No, I wanted to
too
see.
high.
Yeah. Can I see the motor speed? No, but because the idle speed should be around between maybe 700, 800. So you can imagine directly after launch of the car, we have already 1,000.
Boom, already there.
And then the big torque.
And like we said, that makes for, not only does that make for a good off-roader,
Yeah.
because it means that you can get unstuck very
Exactly.
easily. It also makes for drivability.
Yes.
Good drivability.
Yes.
We are coming around.
By the way, we were talking about the torque. Yeah?
Mhm.
I mentioned before the 800 Newton meter. We can go a little bit over. The
Mm.
highest torque what we have actually is during shifting normally.
Oh.
And this is in the transmission, like in the automatic transmission.
Sure.
During shifting, we have always some over torque. That's why I said we can do a little bit more than the 800.
Well, obviously, when you're an engineer, one of the things you have to do is you have to have, your operating domain. You have to have your
Duty cycles.
duty
It's-
cycles.
yeah,
You have
yeah.
to have something
Load
like,
cycles.
look, you don't design the thing to work. You say 800 newton meters of torque, but obviously
we need some buffer.
You need some buffer,
Exactly.
to make sure that creates buffer
We
means
all-
reliability.
And yes, reliability,
Durability.
and as you said before about the limits, there are always people who go to the limits.
Yes.
And I mean, of course,
Journalists.
they buy. Yeah, they
Car
buy the car.
reviewers like me always do some
Of
stupid
course,
stuff.
I cannot say the car makes 800 and then he drives the 800 and it's broken. This is not acceptable.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. That wouldn't work. And so, as a car reviewer, I can tell you that I've seen some pretty goofy stuff being done by some car reviewers, and I got to imagine again as an engineer, you watching, you go like,
Yeah.
You can't
So
imagine what people are gonna do.
So
with
we
it.
need the buffers.
I think we're gonna. Okay.
Okay.
So I think we're getting down now.
Getting
That
out.
was
That was fun.
quite an
Yeah.
experience.
Yes,
that was
it
a
is.
whole lot of fun.
Yes. Also, the sound of when you close the door is so bold, you can really feel the quality of the car.
Let's sit over here with Jack.
So, Jack,
Welcome back.
So sorry you have missed this, but this was really also next level of
I saw
fun.
you guys on that seesaw up there. How was it?
It was
Scary.
absolutely
I
great.
bet I was scared watching
He
it.
was nervous a little bit.
Yeah.
I was in the seatbelt when we were going down, and I was showing them that the angle is so great that I was just like this.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
only the
In the-
seatbelt was
in
keeping me
seatbelt,
from
yeah.
falling out.
I actually did. I actually went for a test drive earlier this morning, and we went up that thing. And it's like it feels like even scarier than a roller coaster because you go all the way up,
Yes.
and then the car parks,
Yeah.
Yes.
and then you're just sitting there like
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
very
Yes.
nerve-wracking,
Yeah.
and then
And-
it goes like that.
But on the second round, the tires
Yeah.
were still a little bit wet from our adventure in the pool.
Yeah.
So, but no problem for the car. There's
Yes.
no slipping, no
Yes.
going back. This is very stable.
It's quite amazing
Uphill.
to me, like on that seesaw where the vehicle on such a high slope, it just like solidifies itself there.
Yes.
Yes.
Like solid like a rock.
It's like a gecko.
Right.
Yeah, like a gecko, yes, exactly. Yeah.
And then
Goes up.
And then
Yeah.
when you're going down, when I was going down the first time, they turned on like that, like controlled speed decline.
So
like
hill
DSR
descent
or-
control.
yeah.
yeah, descent control. That's the word.
And so that was, again, it's another great example of how these systems basically, they make everything very simple.
Right.
And so you don't need to worry about managing the brake. The car
Yes,
is going to go
it's doing
down, maintain
everything.
traction,
Yes.
and then just get you bottom of the hill safely.
Exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
it was
So-
crazy. He took his foot off the brake completely and just let the car do its thing. I'm like, are you sure you should be doing that? Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Well-
But then we had the side slope also. And
Yeah.
this for me was almost more scary than the uphill.
Honestly,
Yeah.
a little bit, because you're worried about the car actually tipping over, which obviously it didn't, and it
didn't,
won't.
yeah.
But
Right.
you know,
That-
it's very,
that's-
it can
yes.
be very scary.
Side slopes over 20 degrees, I
30.
think, is what
They
he
have
was
a,
looking.
yes, in the dashboard there is they are measuring it.
Yes.
And
Oh.
it's really mentioned it was exactly 30 degree.
Wow.
And it's really high slope.
Wow.
So-
I feel like a lot of these obstacles here, like, how did you feel like when you were, do you think that these obstacles here that they have on this course, do you think it's a good representation of how these vehicles can perform in a real off-road
I
environment?
think so. Of course, it's artificial. So the reality is different. We also talked about this. Also, you have different ground and rocks and stones and sand and so on. But I think if the vehicle can do this, then it's perfectly prepared for the off-road.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because I feel like these obstacles, they really take it to the extreme.
Yes.
Yes,
like a lot of what we saw, like these are slopes that you probably would not even really encounter.
Yes,
in
if I would be
driving.
off-road and see this, maybe I would think twice or maybe 3 times, will I really go up?
So I think that we were just at something of a very stimulating experience.
Right.
So maybe we can relax a little bit now.
Take it down.
Yeah. Now we
got the whole campsite going.
And this is really fantastic place here. And
look at this.
By the way, you see, again, the power.
Yeah.
The car, and I mentioned before, now we have here the
like
camping
a
equipment,
whole
like
tent setup.
This is really cool.
This is really cool, and
Right.
it has 2 floors.
What?
You can go upstairs. If
This
you look
is an example of like, at first
2
I didn't
floors.
even know it was a power because they just got so much modification
Yes.
like on it.
This is fantastic.
Like there's a tent up there. You could literally be sleeping up there.
Yeah, there is a little ladder, then you can climb up.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
It's fantastic.
And that's something that's super important to the off-road community because it's one of the communities within cars that loves modifying their cars and customizing their cars more than almost anyone else.
Yeah.
So to make that customizability easy is really, really important to them, and it's something that makes it an attractive brand, I think.
Look at this right here.
So you have prepared doing that while we were
Like
driving. You already prepared some.
It's that
dish.
Japanese guandongju.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure you've had it before. You can get it at 7-Eleven all the time. Cook a little bit of this.
Yes.
But we don't have 7-Eleven here. We have the power.
Yes.
And so it looks like, is this thing's powering all of this?
Yes.
Like
So-
what exactly is going on
So
here?
actually, it looks like it's a charger, but it's not. It's a discharger in
Oh,
this
so
case.
I'm not charging my truck with the guandongju.
No, you are not charging.
The
with
truck
this
is
boot.
charging my guandongju.
Exactly. So we call it V2L, vehicle to load.
Right.
Okay.
So the power from the vehicle battery we are using to make, for example, cooking here, or have
Right.
a little fridge, or have
Right.
I hear this a kind of a small,
They told me that's an AC, an air conditioner.
an air conditioner. Maybe we
Right.
should put it inside, not outside. But
Yeah.
otherwise, we make air conditioner for whole Shanghai.
Right, right.
That would be nice, yeah.
And then we have this coffee machine. So maybe you are curious about the power.
Yes.
Because
How,
so many.
how long could we actually power a campsite like this though with our
So the
vehicle?
output power is 6 kilowatt.
Okay.
So 6 kilowatt. So I can tell you. So I need a capacity for my whole house in Germany, for example.
Right.
I need every day. I need power around 10 or 11 kilowatt hours.
Okay.
So the battery here has 39 kilowatt hours. Now you can calculate. Now again, make the math by yourself.
Yes.
You can between 3 if you have the complete house. So here is not a complete house. Yeah. So you can a complete house power with this battery 3 to 4 days.
Wow.
And then the best part, though, I think, is the fact that once that battery, if you do happen to discharge the battery, the engine turns on.
Of course,
And then
because
it's
you have the
generating
fuel.
power.
Exactly.
Oh, so we're talking days.
And 6 kilowatt is a lot. So the normal AC charger that you have in your home in the garage or something, so for the charger is 7 kilowatt.
Yes.
So you have almost the discharge power here like the charge power AC.
That is honestly, having reviewed a ton of cars, 6 kilowatts is a very impressive number. I think it's well above what I would consider the industry standard.
And I think it's quite unique. So I don't know so many cars who have this V2L capacity at the moment. So this is really quite unique for us.
How about this? How many cars have the V2L capacity, the off-road capability, the hybrid powertrain, all those things?
All of this.
Really?
And if you talk about off-road, so maybe it's not always as beautiful as today. Maybe you have rain.
Yes.
You have snow. Maybe if somebody is really hardcore camping enthusiast, or you have dust, so you don't have to be worried. So all of these connections are dust-proof and waterproof. You can also, when it's raining, you can plug it in. There's no problem.
So it's safe just the way you would when you were charging the car.
Exactly.
Obviously, the charging cables, charging adapters, and they're
charging
all
is safe.
waterproof.
Charging is safe, but discharging also.
Because
Of course, you must make sure that this thing will not break, because this is not from Great Wall Motors. So we have not engineered this, but the charging is no problem.
I would definitely be nervous about plugging something in the
middle of the rain.
Yeah.
Right?
But it's no problem. And maybe I can give you also one example, because there are sensors inside in this cable. So if the sensor see that you are about to discharge, immediately it shut off the power.
Oh.
So there is no problem that it has spark or something in the rain.
Right.
So the customer don't have to be afraid
Nice.
at all.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to eat this stuff?
Yeah, because the
Let's do
smelling is very good.
It smells good.
Maybe-
This is really hot, you guys.
We got guandong.
And I think maybe
This
because
is a
I
water
like this coffee
dispenser, isn't
machine,
it?
this looks so classic.
You gonna whip up the coffee?
Yeah, now I must
Go
check
watch that fruit, dude. Look at that.
No, now I make it wrong. First, I must
Go
press
watch
here.
the peaches.
I'm gonna have a little bit of this. This crunch is gonna be loud on the mic, but I think I can't help myself.
And I like this noise. Coffee is going to be made. Are you here? This
Oh,
it's
it's
working.
actually making it right now.
Yes, that is one of my favorite noises on earth. Is the
Yes.
sound of coffee being
Yeah.
made.
Yes. Indeed, indeed.
So it almost looks like at home, not like camping. Yeah.
Which is really good, actually.
Look at this. I'm gonna try one of these. Which one do I want to try though?
I like the tofu one.
I'm gonna go for the kelp.
Ooh.
I'll let this cool down for a second.
Well, I've got to stay careful, buddy.
Maybe
You're
I
gonna
also
burn your
make.
mouth.
Do you need
Crack
a?
open this thing right here.
Let's
Do you need it? Then you can put it.
Anybody
Smart.
want a drink?
Smart.
Yes. We have a fridge here. That's
What did they put
fantastic.
on the top?
It's not just a fridge, it's a freezer.
A freezer.
Oh, we got more guandong
So
to
that's a
go.
lot of power
So
you
how
gotta
to-
give this thing to keep the temperature that low. So this is exactly what you're seeing in the pot over here.
Look at this. This thing's ice cold.
Oh, Perrier, fancy.
That
I'm
is
still-
perfect.
So.
Tobias is drinking hot coffee. But I'm
Yeah,
going for the
actually, it's not
ice-cold carrier.
actually it's not the right day today for hot coffee, but I like it.
Well, that thing's filled to the brim.
Yeah, I
He
make.
puts the
Are
wrong
you gonna-
size
are you
cups,
gonna
but
be
it's
able
gonna
to-
be good, I
You're
think.
gonna be able to get that
He's an
out?
engineer,
can.
he can figure
Look at
it
that.
out.
Look at that foam though.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Oh my God, that's beautiful. What's this
That's
coffee
beautiful.
machine?
Do you want to have it or?
I'll take it.
Take it.
Oh.
Because you said you like the noise, so take it.
This will be my third coffee of the day, but
Can I
you
get-
know,
can I
it's
get
a
you a
long
drink
day.
out
Then
of
I
the
take
fridge?
also, yes. What do we have?
So we've got.
Ice cold.
we
I
got
take a Coke.
Fanta, Coke. Coming right up.
Can you give me one of those Fantas?
Fantastic.
You got it, buddy.
You know what I was thinking? I was wondering if we'd be able to sit over there.
Yeah,
in
I
the
think
seats.
that I'm
Thank
just
you.
seeing here.
It ain't
there's-
purple Fanta. It's orange Fanta.
Let's go. These look like nice camping chairs.
And they
over
look
here.
like luxury camping
Let's
chairs.
do it,
yeah.
let's do it.
They do look really comfortable. Why don't Jack sit in the middle? How about you can sit right
Yes,
there? I'll be
okay.
on the left.
All
How about
right.
that?
And
Let's do
again,
it.
we have here the electrical teapot. And
Oh, it's
also
doing
this,
all these.
also
Yeah.
this teapot is charged by the car. Or not
Does it
charged,
have
is
220
Powered.
volt outlet too?
230 should have. Yes.
Wow,
Yes.
okay.
Otherwise you can, because all these appliances are 230 volt.
Ooh, you got some.
So we have converter.
This is my vibe. I love camping.
Yeah.
I love going out with my friends, and I like a relaxing camping.
Yes.
It's nice to go out and do the off-roading. It's nice to be able to have the capability to get to the campsite. I know a lot of the people that live abroad that go camping and stuff, we call it overlanding, right?
Yeah.
Overlanding, the idea of taking your vehicle, going camping in it. So you go down the trail, you bring everything you need with you, you drive for as long as you want, you stop in a beautiful place, you unpack everything.
Yes.
To be able to do that, but then have the creature comforts of all of this.
Yes.
Right.
would
And
be
now
pretty
we make it
awesome.
comfortable and have a seat.
Absolutely, let's have a
That's
seat.
an insane amount
Yeah.
of freedom.
And by the way, because you said you like the noise from the coffee machine, now I show you the noise I like.
See if you can open this. I think they're
It's not a
frozen.
beer. It's not a beer, but it's a Coke. But the noise is very nice.
Mine's completely frozen. I
Let
think.
me,
mine is-
let me get mine.
Oh yeah,
open.
it's also a little bit. It's really powerful freezer.
That is that.
That's
Cheers.
a very
Cheers.
powerful
Yeah.
freezer.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Yes.
I can drink. That's definitely cold.
It's very
is.
cold. It's so cold it's hard to drink.
It's frozen cold.
I'm gonna put it here in the sun to warm it up, and then I'm gonna mix it with. I live dangerously. I'm gonna mix it with some coffee too.
So have you guys done a lot of outdoor like exploration and camping in China in your years here?
I've done a little bit. I've spent some time. I mean, it's one of those things that I love to do with my friends. I love to go out on the weekends. Again, we talked before, like living the fast kind of city life. I think that camping has gotten more and more popular here in China, and I think that applies to other countries as well. Of course, our own. I'm sorry, I can't claim it alone.
Yeah.
Our own United States people
the
love
United
to do
States. You can't just take them for yourself.
the people, you have a long work week, you got your 9 to 5,
Right.
and then you just want to take a car and you want to be able to go out somewhere beautiful, get away from everything.
Right.
I got camping. I got started camping when I was young because parents would take me, and then I got into Boy Scouts.
Oh,
And I got to tell you,
you're experienced.
yes, sir, Eagle
A
Scout.
Boy Scout. Yeah, Eagle.
The joy that I would have felt if you'd said to me when I was a young Boy Scout, hey, you're going to get to go camping, but you are going to get to have maybe a microwave,
Yeah.
a refrigerator.
This kind of comfort you didn't have. I think.
A PlayStation.
A
Yeah.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
You know me, I
Yeah,
would have absolutely
yeah,
had
yeah.
my Dreamcast or something.
Right.
And so that would have made me really, really, really happy. So to be able to use the V2L to enhance the experience, we'll say.
Especially you just now mentioned the PlayStation.
Yeah.
I mentioned my house in Germany, so I have like a small display where I can see the actual power of the house.
Right.
And always the power goes directly up if the kids open the PlayStation. Then directly the power got up. But this is all possible with this V2L here. So all this power can be covered. Even it's not a joke. You could bring a PlayStation and a TV and play in the Outback if you want.
I take it as a challenge. It's now my goal to get one of these and to actually do this.
I also don't think so, but I want to. The power of this V2L capability is very good.
Just the idea of like what you said, like you get in your car, you drive as far as you want, as long as you want. You don't have to think really about where you're going to stop at the end of the day.
Yes.
When you're tired, when you feel like pulling over, you just pull over and you've got all of your necessities with you, and you've got the power as well.
Exactly. And we talked about how is it in China. Yeah. So maybe 5 years ago I rented an RV in China, which was, at that days was very unique. It was not so often seen.
Yes.
But now within 5 days it becomes more. 5 days. 5 years. So 5 days ago.
Things move fast in China.
5 years. 5 years it becomes more and more and more popular, and now the Chinese OEM are suddenly offering like this.
Right.
So you can get now everything in China.
Yeah.
So
It's been a very big trend.
Yes.
So,
it's been a very big trend.
So a couple years back, during National Day in China, you get a couple days off. I was in Beijing, and it was early October, so I thought, it wouldn't be that cold. And me and a couple of friends went out just somewhere. We took we took an RV, but it was kind of like like a low caliber, just kind of bottom of the line RV. And we drove it out there, and we found some ravine between mountains, and we went down there and we brought our own tents. But let me tell you, it was cold. It was so cold. I had all of my clothes. I kid you not. I put on all of my clothes to go there, and I was still cold. And I think back now, man, if I had this, V to L.
Yes.
At that time, it would have just been so much more enjoyable. We had a little hot pot thing going.
With gas probably at that time, or not
right.
electric. Yeah.
Exactly, but you would take out something to eat it, and it would almost just condense, coalesce immediately.
Because the oil on it would turn to solid.
Right. The hot pot was not enjoyable. Really, the only good thing about the hot pot was trying to get warm by it.
I was going to say it went from a hot pot to campfire because you guys wanted to stay warm.
It was the only source of warmth. So if I imagine back then I had something like this, I could have all these.
That is really interesting because now when you talk about this, I also remember when I was maybe 15 years ago camping in Germany, all this kind of appliances was with gas.
Yeah.
With a little bit with a gas bottle in the car, or also the heating in the car was with gas.
Yeah.
So, if you make a mistake, this can be also dangerous with the gas. Now, with a high voltage battery and V2L, this is absolutely safe.
Listen, I am lucky to be alive considering the fact that they let me, when I was a very young man, have access to a little gas burner stove that was essentially a small rocket.
Yeah.
I would in the middle of the mountains. I'm exhausted because we've had to walk 20 kilometers in a day. And then they're telling me, okay, go heat up your dinner. Your freeze-dried dinner, by the way.
Yeah.
And so I'm lucky that I didn't blow myself up all those years ago.
Even now, in some of the restaurants, when you go and eat Korean food, they still come out with those gas-powered stoves on your table. And every time, I'm like, this looks like it's going to taste good, but I kind of want to sit further away from it.
Tell me if you've heard this noise before. Tick, tick.
But some still have this with the coal.
Yeah.
This is what I prefer. This
old
is really
school.
the old school and very traditional.
I still love a nice.
But it's less and less because of the pollution now.
Yes.
And pollution, if you talk about pollution, this car have no problem with pollution because it's full electric.
Right.
Yeah, you can go, even if there is an area, maybe in the city, which you cannot go with gas cars in the future or fuel cars, you can go electric. So you can do everything.
That is the thing with a lot of cities, that they have limitations on the certain vehicle that you can drive within there. If it's not an electric vehicle, then you might really be limited in terms of where you can go.
So you are very flexible with this product.
That's exactly right. I mean, the big takeaway, I think one of the big takeaways has to be the flexibility of it. So we're talking about flexibility in terms of where you can drive, how you can drive, what you can do once you get there.
Right.
And maybe I say something shortly about charging, because before we talked about that the engine can be used to charge the battery. Of course, it's a plug-in hybrid, so we can also plug in and charge the battery.
Right.
And the customer may be interested how fast is charging.
Of course.
This is
I will say, for context, a lot of the PHEVs you can they don't have fast charging.
Exactly, but we have.
Okay.
So we can charge with 50 to 60, so depending on temperature and so on, 50 to 60 kilowatt, which is for PHEV
Wow.
already very good.
That's very on the
so
high
most of the PHEV, maybe you have to, if you are lucky, they have 22 AC charging.
Yep.
But this can DC charging, so with a DC current, 50 to 60 kilowatt.
Okay. Yes, that is considering the standard from the industry for when it comes to these PHEVs. It's impressive because you know, with most PHEVs, it's great concept, but unless if you're slow charging at home overnight, no problem. But
outside,
if you're outside, right, and you don't want to hook up a slow charger and have to wait 5 or 6 hours, it's nice to be able to do it very fast.
And maybe because some people maybe don't know how much is or how fast is 50 kilowatts. So maybe we can now do the math again. So this is like
so how fast are we
how fast is it? So we have our battery is 39, let's say 40 kilowatt hours.
Right.
So we charge with 60. We make it easy. If the battery would be 30 kilowatt, we charge with 60, we could make it completely full in half an hour. But normally you make it not completely empty, and normally you don't charge it completely
20
full.
to 80%.
20 to 80, you can less than half hour.
There you go.
Half an hour.
Very quick. Because I know like the qualm for like a lot of people when it comes to like new energy vehicles is that they hear stories about someone's driving and, you know, like if you run out of gas, you go to the gas station, you fill it up, it's a couple minutes.
Right.
But people have to pull over and they have to charge their vehicle for, I don't know, like hours, right? And that really deters a lot of people from kind of getting into new energy vehicles and trying out electric vehicles.
In China, you have a nice tradition. So if the charging is too long, then you can sit outside and drink some tea, right? And then you can enjoy the long charging time. But with this kind of vehicle, actually you have no time for the tea because the charging will be finished earlier.
Yeah.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Awesome.
Because they have such a nice, we have such a nice tea stove here, so we must try.
It would be a shame not to use it.
Yeah,
A second opportunity to cheers.
Yes.
With these beautiful little glasses.
I feel like we're drinking whiskey.
It does
It looks like whiskey. Yeah.
A couple
This is not whiskey.
So the audience, they cannot judge if it's really tea.
That's good stuff.
That's fantastic.
And like we were talking about, like, you know, the freedom of this vehicle and the flexibility of this vehicle, I feel like you can really see that just in how this vehicle is set up right here, the power. We have essentially, you know, the extent to which you can modify these things. Like we have a tent
with
all
two
the
floors.
way on top, right?
Yeah, this, can I take a moment to appreciate this? Again, Boy Scouts, I had a tent that I had to put together with these collapsible poles. If I could have rocked up to the campsite, and then I can imagine how amazed my fellow Boy Scouts would have been to just watch me grow a skyscraper out of the back of the pickup truck. So to be able to attach that is super cool.
It's like you're playing Sim City. Right.
And by the way, now we are sitting quite low on the floor. This looks so massive. If I look to the car, I can almost look here to the trunk. Yeah, this looks like a big machine.
Yes, we're making it look big and intimidating.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys remember from like the exhibition center like a couple days ago at the auto show.
Yes.
They had that off-road pavilion because they had the dual pavilion setup. And at the off-road pavilion, a lot of it was showing off modded vehicles.
Yes.
So like the Tank 300s, I saw them like modified just to such, you know, just so much personality you can put into your car.
Yes, individual, yes.
Really make it yours.
Yes.
It's like I was saying before about customization in the off-road community is huge. And for example, one of my favorite things that I see all the time when Tank 300s here in Shanghai is I see a lot of them they're like a retro or vintage style.
Yeah.
So you'll have a two-tone paint job, maybe a blue on the bottom, white top.
Yes.
I saw one just like that at the off-road pavilion, and I rode in it on it had because that off-road pavilion it had that off-road course on the top of it.
Yeah. And so as somebody who loves, you know, retro and vintage off-roaders, the idea of being able to have this but also be able to look kind of like those very cool cars that I grew up seeing and thinking were awesome. Yeah. That's kind of the best of both worlds. So I think one of the things apart from the I mean, there's just so many things you could do with this V2L. So we've talked about some of the comfort and convenience features, but I'm thinking about some of the amazing stuff you could do, like in terms of camping. Something just came to mind. Okay, so let's say you're going off-road. Now, we all believe in protecting the environment, of course. So we would only do this where we were allowed to. But let's pretend you got somewhere and you really needed to, you know, make some space for your vehicle. Okay, you've got a chainsaw. Normally, you need to have a big old
Right.
You can have a nice compact electric chainsaw in the car, and you could use that to maybe clear some brush, we'll
Yes,
say.
and then charge it again.
And
Yeah.
then charge, yes, and
Yes,
then charge
on the
it
car,
again.
yes.
Yeah, that would actually be, I think, a super useful thing to do. I mean, honestly, it's hard to, it's like almost unlimited,
Yes.
the things you can
All
think to
these
do with
tools
it.
what you have here, you have this big fridge and the freezer you
Yeah.
can bring.
Yes. Yeah.
And by the way, people can say, oh, so many things I cannot carry, but with this car you can because you have a lot of space in the trunk.
Right.
When this thing collapses down right, you still have the whole bed underneath
Exactly,
of it.
the bed. Yeah, it's a bed. Actually, it's not a trunk. It's a really big bed on the pickup.
And this tailgate as well, I've seen a lot of versions where you can open it downward, you can swing it open.
60-40, by the way. This is you can make it 60-40, and
Right,
you
the
can
center
completely
split.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. You can do that. You can put one of those things. It's basically like one of those guardrails that
Right.
attaches, right?
Right.
And then that way it just extends the bed even further.
Yes,
It's
yes.
very, very cool.
I love the way like some people mod their PAL to where they have like you're talking about like the guardrails and they have the spare tire on the top of it.
Yes.
And then they also, a lot of them I see they like carry like a shovel
A shovel.
on the
Yeah,
side of
shovel.
it as well.
Yes, even because before you talked about tank 300, so one of my colleagues also have one, and he always have the shovel in the back. On the spare tire, he have a shovel. It looks really
You gotta wonder
dramatic.
how often you really get to like use the
Yeah,
shovel.
he never use it probably.
It's one of those things. It looks cool, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks cool. It's
it
individual.
looks cool. That's
Yeah.
what matters.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well-
yeah, it does. It's part of the story or part of the style. I
The
should say.
style, yes.
It's
thank you, the
really a
style.
lifestyle, I want to say. Yeah.
Lifestyle,
Yes.
thank you. That's
Yeah.
even a better word.
But I don't know. I feel like just aside from just the camping and being able to sit here and you have the V to L and all of that, I feel like just the overall experience today and being at the auto show. I mean, like I feel like I gotta like circle back around to these vehicles to get one
Yes.
last look at them.
Yes.
Before we hop off our stream right
I'm
here.
gonna bring my Fanta.
Yeah,
Is
I
that
also
okay?
bring it because it's really still now. The
This
ice is
thing-
gone.
Drinkable?
Yeah,
Yes,
the
it's
ice
drinkable.
the ice has melted at the perfect pace.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like it's lasted me just like through the drinking process.
I always have to look back because this looks like a holiday.
Yeah.
Kind of car.
Yeah. You can imagine it.
Yes.
So yeah, we got to ride in all three of these babies. We got to go camping with this one right here. I mean, I'd say that's a pretty lucky day overall.
Yeah, I think I had a great time today. It was really exciting to be able to, one, start off and talk to Tobias and get his introduction of the vehicles, learning about the different kinds of high 4 systems, high 4, high 4T, high 4Z,
right?
And all the,
There's even the high 4G as well.
High 4G, yes. Maybe the audience can see the truck in the back. So one is hydrogen and one is high 4G.
Whoa!
It's high 4. It's a
Didn't
high
know,
4.
huh?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I just found out about
high
this a
4
couple days ago.
transmission for commercial vehicles.
So I was going to say that, yeah, like to be able to learn about it from you is a privilege, and then to be able to actually get behind the wheel and experience the cars. So experience the hard work you guys have put into the chassis tuning and the dynamics going over the bumps, and then of course all the off-road obstacles and demonstrating the power of those real locking differentials, because to be able to have that and then have electric power and have the gas motor and everything is it's dominating.
And accidentally you perfectly demonstrated the locks. So this is also where I like very much today. Yes.
We had a moment there where Ethan wasn't using it properly, and then when we went around the second time, I showed them how you
And it
actually
was
lock
so
the rear
smooth.
diff.
Yeah.
Smooth as butter.
Get a before and after.
Exactly.
It's important.
Yeah, that was very
Accidents, they make great things.
That's
Yes,
exactly
yes.
right. It's exactly right.
I also enjoyed the day with you, especially because I know the products very well, but I have not so many chance to talk with the, let's say, like the real customers. So
Right.
today this was very fantastic for me to have this exchange.
I imagine as an engineer, because you're probably working on the details and the mechanics of it a lot, but to really sit down with the end user and kind of hear from them some feedback, I imagine it's really got to be a rewarding process.
My colleague always says sometimes we must go out of the machine room and see the light.
Step out from the cave where you do all the math and then go out into the sunlight and talk to people. I'm glad we could give you the opportunity to do that.
Thank you very much.
As a car reviewer, I spend so much time talking about cars, and one of the best things I've found to do to keep my passion for it alive is to share the experience with other people.
Yes.
So obviously the audience there, and then as you guys, just getting to talk about cars is something that
Yes.
Yeah, I would gladly get to pay me, but I get it as a job, but I would probably do it for free.
And
Don't tell anybody.
And always by talking with others, you also learn a lot. So
True.
I learn a lot from you. You learn something maybe
Right.
about the technical. So this is always very convenient. Huh?
It's kind of like going like on vacation. You know, like you go and you see a beautiful place or you experience something really cool. But if you don't have a friend with you or you don't have family with you to share it with, it's just not the same.
Precisely.
Exactly.
Right?
Precisely.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's one of those things, like that's what I think makes what people have a passion for off-roading and for camping and stuff. We think about it, yes, there's all sorts of awesome tools and things you can do, but it's the people that you go with.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's the
Yes.
ability to take that vehicle, to utilize all of its functions to make you and your friends and your family have a better time.
Yes.
That makes it really enjoyable.
Share the memories. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Especially if you're with family, I feel like, you know, the safety of these vehicles is also a big thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you're going out, like you said, you want to bring your family, you want to bring your friends, but when you're going with them, it's not just you anymore. You
Yes.
have to be considering, you know, you need that peace of mind when it comes to the safety of everyone that's going with you.
Right, and imagine, if you will, that you got your partner to agree to go out off-roading with you, and then your car gets stuck.
Right.
A little embarrassing. So,
and it might be the last time you ever get them to come out.
Might be the
Or
last
you don't
time.
have partner anymore. This is worst case.
Worst case scenario, you're now single.
Right.
So that is going to be a real deal breaker. So it's good to know that they've got your back.
Because you know, off-roading, camping, definitely not for everyone, but I feel like if you had friends or family that you wanted to get them to try it out, this would definitely make it a very comfortable experience.
And maybe one more topic. If you go out alone, you still have the possibility over the system to share your experience directly from the car, over the cloud, to your family and social media. Also,
there we go.
So this we didn't touch so much, but we have this kind of user experience system also in all these cars.
Wow.
So you are very flexible.
Oh, wow.
You're sharing it in real time.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, very, very cool though. I mean, I was at the Shanghai exhibition 2 days ago. I was also hanging out with Tobias,
Yes.
but today to be able to come out here and get behind the wheel of it, to sit in the car and really ride in it, really makes all the difference.
That's really the reality. Yeah.
It was awesome. Beautiful weather, too.
Yeah, we got lucky. All right, well, I guess that's it for our stream this afternoon. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, it has.
Yes.
Got to hang out with really two cool guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Tobias. Thank
and
you,
I
Jack.
would say cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. Very nice day with you.
Right, and
All
there's
right.
always more GWM events coming up, so
Of
who
course.
knows when we'll be seeing you guys next time. But until then, have a good one.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Keep waving. I don't know when he's turning it off. Gotta keep it going.
What drives us? Curiosity to explore, passion to discover, thirst for adventure, energizing us to go further. With more courage, we scale new heights within ourselves.
这就这种了，用热气，你们看兄弟，追求三不行的那个出事。他天气的这呢，俺最开就点被这种会忙不就就把我些。
我的项链不见了，
儿子，快帮姐姐回忆一下，她有没有带？
姐姐她肯定带了，不然我怎么会捡到嘞？
这臭小子！
With more spirits, we deepen our ties through the moments we share.
Looking after a horse means understanding it, not taming it. It's all on you now.
Thanks, Dad.
Take care of the farm! Enjoy your retirement, Dad!
With more possibilities, we draw strength from the past, inspiring the journey of tomorrow.
Eric! Time to go! I'm in the car. Speed up!
Come on, Mom, why are you doing it to me?
With more love, we nurture those we hold dear, setting them free.
Okay, so you like this place? We're gonna come here most of them, right? So, what are you gonna do after that?
Let's make some snowmen.
Oh, really? You can try that.
Alex!
With more imagination, we bring our dreams to life together.
Wow. That's a nice motto. That's great. I did that many years ago.
And why you stopped?
I ask myself the same question. I really don't know.
You should do it again, man. Good luck!
With more inspiration, we reignite the fire inside. What drives GWM? The power of possibilities, the passion for innovation,
Where do we go next year?
the pursuit of perfection, empowering you to go further. GWM. Go with more.
GWM. Go with more.
What drives us? Curiosity to explore, passion to discover, thirst for adventure, energizing us to go further. With more courage, we scale new heights within ourselves.
追求这种用热情，你们卡上的追求三不行的那个措施。他天气的这样，俺最开决定被这种可忙不有用吧哇塞。
我的项链不见了。
儿子，快帮姐姐回忆一下，她有没有带？
姐姐她肯定带了，不然我怎么会捡到嘞？
这臭小子。
With more spirits, we deepen our ties through the moments we share.
Looking after a horse means understanding it, not taming. It's all on you now.
Thanks, Dad.
Take care of the farm! Enjoy your retirement, Dad!